Hello, Internet, and welcome to Survivors Complex. And with our awesome new overlay setup. Thank you. She's not here, and I feel horrible that we don't get to praise her in person, but Morgan made this for us. She's been updating and overhauling a lot of the games on the channel. You've seen her work in the in Tidefall. And we finally get a little taste of her creative genius ourselves. So we're super happy. I hope everybody else out there likes it for their viewing pleasure. And I think there are a couple other iterations and stuff that might come up, and other things that you guys will get to see throughout probably this session. So a couple of quick announcements before we get started, because I want to jump into this as soon as possible. We got a lot to get through today, as we do every day. We have our giveaway going on. Just launched that the other week. If you haven't had a chance to enter, go over to our Twitter. There is a bunch of links right now there to it. We've been tweeting about it pretty frequently to get people to enter. We are giving away a copy of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes towards the end of May, and you can enter in that just by following us here on Twitch, and you can gain additional entries by a number of other ways. Following us on YouTube, on Twitter. You can answer a quick question for us and about what kind of games you want to see us playing, and gain entries daily by submitting answers there. Yes?
I would actually like to clarify the rules of that question. For those of you out there that haven't read the instructions, you will only get an entry for every unique individual answer you give to that question. So if you go on there and you tell us 17 times that you want us to play Pathfinder, you're only going to get one for Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So
no, we're not
make sure your
you
answers are unique.
Yeah, we're not saying you have to predict what other people have said, but if we go on there...
No, just your own answers.
Yeah. So fair point. But watch out for that, and we will be doing additional giveaways other than our Mordenkainen's giveaway if we hit our certain goals. So make sure you're throwing that out there as much as you can, retweeting it so your friends will see it, and so people that haven't had a chance to see it and enter can get a chance to do so. We are also so close to hitting our YouTube 100 subscriber goal to get a new or a custom URL. So we would really like to not having to keep using the bit.ly links, because those keep expiring and everybody keeps getting frustrated when they go to click on that. It's not there. So please, 5 people, go and click that subscribe button. I think that's pretty much it. Mostly it's just the same stuff. We've posted all of our latest episodes, everything on YouTube, and we'll have more games with it next week. Apocrypha on Monday, Tidefall on Thursday, and more to come. And we'll talk about that after the stream too. All right, everybody good? Get back into it. Everybody take a deep breath as we dive back in.
Dive back in? Really?
Literally diving into an underwater city.
I see what you did there.
Did he freeze? Oh god. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second, guys. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go back to the beginning and we're gonna start this whole thing over.
And we're back. Sorry, everyone, for that. Computer stuff. Apparently, it wanted to update. So, thank you everyone for holding on. Let's get back to the game.
Maybe with less terrible jokes, I'd still
Maybe.
like to blame that.
Maybe. It crashed because my pun. Okay, I'll avoid making that same pun again. So, last time that we met, your group had finally defeated the nefarious entity Shrox Alith. You had claimed your sort of your little bit of reprieve, your rest as a result, making your way into Shia, repairing your ship, and finally setting off once again towards things that you had put off for some time. You made your way back to the city of Alehaven, where you had discovered Lil's ancestors had once owned a brewery there, and Lil, on her own personal journey, wanted to explore and rediscover this ancient dwarven brewery. You made your way inside, encountering strange traps and eventually a mechanical spider creature that led you to a dwarven man, or what appeared to be a dwarven man, who was ransacking the ancient storage vaults of this brewery. You confronted them. They told you their name was Burleon, who you had been made aware of at one point in your travels. Told you that he was in search of a brew referred to as the Master Brew that your people Lilibet had concocted. He was stealing the rest of the sort of finer vintages of ale and meads that were left within this brewery at the time that you arrived, and was going to make his way out. You told him, you tried to stop him, tried to keep him from stealing from any more from your family, at which point he attacked. He, during the combat, revealed that it was not the unassuming dwarf that you had thought, and in fact was a disguised black dragon, referred to as Burleon the Black. Or thanks to your ally, Prince Instor, were able to temporarily banish him from this plane of existence, and escaped with a few barrels of the mead and a secret little bottle that you had absconded with from deep within the vault. You escaped back onto the Relentless Gale. Burleon, seemingly not aware of where you had gone, flew off, roaring and billowing in the distance. Lil, you were able to use this ale to discover some secrets to your people, and of this journal that you had been given by your grandmother, that it contained a series of ancient and mysterious dwarven recipes, and you set out to hopefully soon reconnect with your grandmother and get that information from her. At which point you all sailed to your intended destination of Nelsri, deep within the territory of Balavar. You sailed your way up the River of Khans after a few months' travel across the open seas and through the Braldrees expanse, eventually making it to Nelsri, the Triton city deep beneath the Rilokar Sea, sort of landlocked within Balavar. And it was there that you met some of Den's family. You met her, one of her aunts, her grandmother, and her cousin. Got a little bit of information on Den's background, learned that some things had changed since the last time she had been there, and decided to finally, with your retinue of Triton soldiers of Clyhid, made your way to the estate of the Chancellor of Nelsri, towards the center of the city, in the central circle, the internal walls. You swam up to this strange and kind of wondrous, twisted structure, this grand estate at the center of the city, leading through the porthole near the bottom of the structure, and emerging into whatever might be inside. And that is where we are picking up our game here today. Are you guys hearing the music? Because for some reason I'm not.
Yes.
And the bubbly water.
All right. If you guys are hearing it, that's what matters. As you emerge in through this pool, this reflective surface from the water's interior, you find yourselves climbing out into a domed structure. It's dark inside, dimly lit by a few green, sort of reflective crystals giving off light, equally spaced around the interior. And the dome itself is some sort of entryway. And Den, you recognize this. It's sort of like it's like the porch of a Triton noble home. It's air in here instead of the water. It's a little like air pocket, and you can see some stairs leading out of this pool into a stone floor that encircles it. And straight ahead of you, sort of further into the structure, you see a large circular door as well, which is currently closed.
I go in.
All right.
Dad, how should we address your dad?
I usually just don't.
Yeah, that's not gonna work though. It's like your excellence, your sir, your
Chancellor's fine usually.
Okay.
Sir works, my lord.
Okay.
Really,
Cool.
whatever.
Thank you.
As long as it's not like, hey, dickhead.
Dang, that was my first go-to.
I know you a little bit.
That was the first thing I thought. You know, it's good to know, though.
Yeah, sir, my lord, whatever.
Okay. Hey, we're all here with you.
Yeah, thanks.
As you're all exiting the water, and you're all sopping wet at this point too, the prince's sword comes up kind of out of the water behind you, picks himself up, and the Triton guards that have been escorting you sort of escort you to this to the entryway, and they're staying out now. They have taken you to your intended destination. And Prince's Sword gets out and kind of looks over his sopping robes and kind of waves his hands a few times. There's a spark of magical energy, and suddenly he is dry. He looks around, kind of dusting himself off, and says,
Can I just walk next to him, then shake?
yes, you walk over next to him with your sopping wet white fur. You shake and spatter water onto his now freshly kind of cleaned clothing, and he kind of shirks away and says, "Oh, was that really? I'll do it for you too if it's really bothering you." And he flicks out towards you at the same time, Star, and you're dry too. And so he takes the next 30 seconds and just casts a few small enchantments. One mile. It's like this blast of warm air, like a very quick hair dryer.
I just had this mental image of like nice Triton houses having like the dryer at the end of the car wash, like as you walk in the door.
Yeah,
that's what I should have done.
We
Star
walk
all
10
like
feet, and that's exactly what's there.
Yep.
is Star all poofy now? Like,
Oh, fluffy.
poof.
Probably a little bit. It's a little
Is his
static.
tail like twice the size it normally is?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so fluffy. Okay,
Let's get it together.
we
Okay.
go in.
All right. So you enter in, or you head over to the doors and push them open. As they part, there's a golden light that sort of shines out into this darkened interior. And you all step into a magnificent foyer. White marble covers the entire floor, extends up the walls and into the domed interior, which seems to stretch 30 or 40 feet above you. There is golden inlay and arches that are equally spaced throughout this foyer every 20 feet or so. Seem to be inlaid with real gold as well, and small sort of crystalline sapphires set in giving it this shimmering and austere interior appearance to it. There aren't any windows or anything. It looks like all the light is coming from similar crystals set into the wall sconces every certain so many feet to give it this nice white light interior. There are stairs that lead up to a second floor, kind of arching off to either side. There to the left as you enter is a large archway that seems to lead into a meeting area or some other large hall to the left that could hold small parties or galas and things of that nature, and some doors and hallways stretching off in a few different directions. So you don't know exactly where they would go, except for Denowin. As you all enter, your footsteps clacking and echoing within this chamber, you hear some footsteps coming from down the hall, and you hear a voice echoing ahead and says, Denowin? Denowin, is that you? And walking down the hall and at a very brisk pace, wearing a floor-length white dress, kind of stitched with green threading throughout, is a looks to be slightly older Triton woman with braided hair in the same sort of bluish color as Den's, the same green eyes, and Den, you see your mother, Lorraine.
Hi, Mom.
She gives a big smile and she comes rushing up towards you and she says, Denowin! And she throws her arms around you and she kind of holds you tight, and she says, your father told me you'd be here, and I didn't believe him at first. And she steps back and looks you over. She says, well, what took you so long to visit?
You know, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
From what I've heard from him, probably not. He said something about a Leviathan of some sort.
There was a Kraken involved at one
True.
point. Truly.
She kind of straightens herself up a bit and takes on a more kind of proper posture and looks around to everyone else and says, I'm sorry. I forgot we had guests as well. Please, I am Lorraine Nelsrith. I'm Denowin's mother. Pleasure to have you all here. You're all welcome within our home for as long as you wish. Do we need to find a place for you to put any things? Do you have anything with you need to put away, or? No.
No, we're
We have
good.
rooms made up if needed, but we'll get something ready to eat as well. Your father is in his study upstairs. I'll tell him you're here, and, well, your siblings should be around here as well.
Great. In particular, is Ephraim home?
She is. I believe she's in her room. I'll fetch her to. Well, I'll ring the bell and then I'll come down. And she goes over towards the stairway, and you can see set into the wall. There's a sort of a silken rope hanging from it, and she tugs on that once, and there's this kind of like dong 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 dong, this like deep echoing bell that echoes through the house.
I introduce everyone
Okay.
to her. And I was making the assumption that Zinstor had met them, but I guess I don't know that.
Yes,
for sure.
actually, and
He's like been here.
Yeah, it's confirmed now as she looks over and she says, "And Your Highness, I'm so glad you're back. We did enjoy your stay so much last time. Are you looking to stay as well?" And he sort of gives a smile and a bow and says, "Be staying for a bit, I suppose. I've been traveling with your daughter and her friends here, and we've been having a good time. I don't know how long.
Stay away.
I don't know how long Den was planning on staying, but of course I could not turn down such gracious hospitality as you so kindly offered me the last time I stayed." And she gives a warm smile and she says, "Of course, and anything as we said before, you can consider this your home as well. I'm sure that Ephraim will be delighted to see that you're here too."
I'm just elbowing Lucius, like,
And he gives a smile. You can see him.
Small chuckle.
You can see his white cheeks sort of blushing a bit, the taking on a more rosy hue, and he continues to give a gracious smile and a nod as you hear more footsteps echoing upstairs.
I, in a very low voice, hoping that my mom doesn't hear, even though I know she knows this is true, I'm gonna turn around and be like, alright, listen, the youngest ones are shits, so like, don't take it personally. They hate everyone.
So the first person to the stairs, you see a Triton of roughly the same height as Den, a little bit shorter, young woman with wearing a yellow blouse and breeches as well. She looks a little more disheveled, but as she comes kind of rushed towards the stairs, and she's got a few books in her hand and looks over and leans over the railing. You see Viserion looking down at you, and her hair is sort of messed. It's attempted to be braided in the same way as your mother's, but it's sort of all over the place, a little bit frazzled at the ends, and she's wearing some kind of reading glasses. And she looks over, she says, "Mother, what's going on?" 10! And she comes running down the stairs as well. And she comes running up and gives you a big hug. And as she's doing that, you hear another set of feet kind of pattering down the hallway. And you see it's a younger Triton girl, looks a lot like Viserion. You see your sister Briannon, who her hair is a bit shorter, kind of more closely cut. And she has this sort of perturbed look on her face. It looks like she has a bit of dirt or something smudged on the side of her cheek. And she says, she comes around the corner and looks around, sees you, looks at her mom, and your mother looks, kind of gives her a nod and says, give your sister a hug. And she says, fine. And she comes just like trudging up to you and holds out her arms to give you, like, not even making the effort of putting them around you to give you a hug, but just sort of
hug,
like,
I give her a super obnoxious hug and like spin her around.
You
like,
do that. She's like, why?
See, your attitude hasn't changed, Bryony.
I hate when you call me that.
I know, that's why I do it.
Just put me down.
I put her down. Wash your face. You live underwater.
Oh, crap. Is it true you're a pirate now?
It's very true.
At that moment, your mother goes, Rhiannon. And then she looks back to you, and she looks back to her, and she sort of, your mother looks at you getting a bit flustered at that moment, and Rhiannon sort of lights up at that. She's like, have you killed anyone?
Yeah.
And your mother says, now, Denowin, I don't think that this is the time for that. You shouldn't fill your sister's head with such fantasies. And she...
No. Pirates don't actually kill anyone.
She, as she's being ushered out of the room by your mother, she's like, what was it like to watch someone die? And is kind of pushed into another room, and your mother is giving like exasperated, just like scolding her from the other, from down the hall.
Yeah, she's exactly like I remember.
And you hear some louder footfalls from upstairs as two people enter. You see, all of you, a Triton woman, thin and lithe, has currently wearing a sort of red silken dress cinched with a belt. She has a similar set of reading glasses on, a bit kind of thinner and with gold frames on them, to her sister Viserion. She comes kind of gracefully walking to the edge of the stairs and looks down and gives a big smile as she looks down and sees you. Dan, you see your sister Ephraim. And at the same time, from down the hall, your father enters as well. A sort of broad-set, shorter Triton man. Actually, kind of the build you can see takes a little bit after Den, very thick, kind of broad shoulders. He has sort of greenish tinted hair, closely cropped, but cinched in the back. Has a little bit of stubble around his chin. some age lines you can see as well, and a little bit of gray poking through, a little bit heavier set. And as he enters and sees your sister, sort of, he doesn't really acknowledge you or call down in the same way that any of your other family has done, but lets your sister kind of go rushing down the stairs and follows after, very quietly watching as he follows behind. And Efren comes running up to you, Dan, and gives a big hug and says, "I'm so glad you're home. You have to tell me everything that's been going on. I've gotten a little bit of it from Zin, and he's told me a bit about what's going on."
Wait, what?
Did Zin, and he kind of looks over at the prince,
who's just got this horrified look on his face and is avoiding eye contact with any of you. And she looks over to him and gives a smile and sort of blushes a bit as she sees him, and she says, "I'm glad you're here too." And she goes up to him and they give sort of a polite hug, and he says, "You're looking as beautiful as ever." And they give sort of this awkward kind of standing in front of each other and smiling, but also everyone else is around. And then they sort of turn back to the group, Zinstor continuing not to make eye contact with anybody. And she looks around, she says, "And these are your friends I've heard so much about at this point. It's so wonderful to meet all of you and all these people that have spent the last few years looking after my little sister here. Please, we should talk. Let's go into the meeting hall. We can sit down and have some tea and discuss what's going on." And your father steps up behind her and says, "Efren, we should discuss some other things first. Your sister has earned quite an accomplishment, and we have some business to discuss, I believe, is why you're here."
It is. Hello, father.
It's good to see you, Denowin. He walks up to you and sort of awkwardly, like, there's that tension of a relationship that was very bad in your younger years, and he doesn't quite know whether to give you a hug or what to do at this point. So he kind of puts out his hand to shake yours in that moment.
I shake his hand, but I do that thing where you like aggressively shake someone's hand harder than you should, like a power move. And I'm super strong.
Yeah, you are super strong. And you can see sort of a flinch of kind of an unexpectance in that moment. And as he releases his hand, there's a sort of awkward tension in the room. And you can still hear your mother and your sister down the hall, like, bickering. And he says, "This is the illustrious Gale Force I've heard so much about."
It is. I introduce everyone. And
he says,
assume you're acquainted with Prince Zinstor.
He gives a nod. He says, "Of course, Your Highness, you're welcome in our home again. I trust your father is doing well." And Princess Sword gives a nod. He says, "It's been a while since I've spoken with him, but the last that I heard, he's in good health. I appreciate you asking." And your father gives a nod and says, "I had meant the last time we spoke, I had some business to discuss, a few documents I'd like to send his way discussing some of the tariffs now that the war has ended, and some business we'd like to do in establishing a small settlement near the northern edges of the Ondarkia Sea." And he gives Zinstor gives a nod and says, "I'm sure my father would be very delighted to hear. Building a relationship with the Triton is something that I have discussed with him at some length now. Believe that we could be mutually beneficial to each other." And he gives a nod and says, "Of course. And for now, let's discuss the business that you're here to discuss, and then we can catch up on some of the things we might have missed over the past few years. Please follow me," and leads you all into down the hallway to the left. Or actually, no, you would have gone into like the sort of the main hall area, and he leads you into there. And there's a few tables off to the side, and he motions for everyone to sit, and after everyone is seated, sit at the table along with you. And there's another sort of awkward silence, and your mother comes in, kind of putting some cups down in some small saucers and pouring some tea for everyone. And as she goes to pour him some, he takes it and he says, "Thank you, darling." And she says, "Of course." And he looks out at your group and he says, "I've received word from the High Chancellor and the Imperial Legate from Arlos that you have accomplished some great things there, Den, and I've received your warnings as well. Thank you for that. We made the preparations, and thankfully it didn't come to pass."
You're welcome.
I have to say I'm impressed. You and your group have done some amazing things the past few months, from what I've been able to hear.
Most people are impressed at this point.
He nods and sort of... there's an audible sort of gulp at that moment, and is sort of not really knowing how to proceed in this conversation, and says, "Denowin," and looks around to the rest of you, not really sure if he wants to have this conversation right now, but gives a sigh and says, "I'm not expecting a warm welcome here, and I'm not expecting you to understand my disposition, and you've made a name for yourself despite my plans for you. And there's nothing that can change that now, and I understand that our relationship is what it is. But you have done great things for Nelsri, for Selene, for our people. And as Chancellor of Nelsri, I commend you for that. And as your father, I am very proud of you." Regardless, there are things in motion now that I, despite any wish that I do not have at this point, I could not stop if I wanted to. Imperial Legate, I don't have the folder up with the name, hold on. Imperial Legate Rallis wishes to see you as soon as possible. I told him a day or so that you would be arriving and might have some other business to take care of, but you are summoned to the Azure Sanctuary as soon as it is convenient for you to arrive. I don't know how long you're planning on spending in Nelsri, but they do wish to see you.
I'm sure. Not long. That's what we came for. And to see Nonna and the rest.
I trust they're doing well. Your mother has visited them not but a few weeks ago. It seemed like everything was in order there.
They're doing very well.
Good.
They also told me you actively told them I was dead. Which I will tell you that your mother-in-law is not pleased.
Well, there was a time when we did believe you were.
That's been a year past at this point, Father.
That was a decision that I did not make lightly. I did not know the intentions of your group and what you were trying to accomplish. I thought that would be something you'd want to do yourself.
You don't have to justify your decisions to me. I'm just warning you that if someone comes for you in the night, it's gonna be my grandmother.
He shifts in his chair a bit. Says, "I will go apologize to her myself." And sort of looks off into the distance a moment, and you can see a slight shudder. And he looks around and says, "Did she tell you anything else that's happened in the last 6 years?"
A bit. Karis is gone?
He nods and says, "He is. And either he is better at hiding than you were, or he's a smart boy. I'm sure he's just covered his tracks well."
I assume you've tried to contact him.
I have.
Sure he's out gallivanting around.
He always took after his older sister in that regard. I don't blame you for him leaving. It was inevitable. But if you do come across him, please tell them to at least write home.
Certainly not going to send him back.
I understand that.
He never did well within the walls.
I suppose not. He looks around the table and kind of continues to see the tension here. It says, "Unless there's anything else you need to discuss with me, I'll leave you two. You'll speak with your sister and accomplish whatever business you need. When you wish to head to the Azure Sanctuary, I trust you know the way."
Very well.
He says, "And again, I understand where we lie at this point. He says, if I might ask one thing, it's that you stay for dinner for your mother's sake."
Of course. We will stay for dinner. I have some things I'd like to discuss with Mother anyway. And I would like to see how you've done with the rest of my siblings. I suppose it's good that after me you had 5 more to try again with.
He sort of shifts at that and says, "I'm sure you'll find not much has changed since you left." He stands up from the table, looks over to Ephraim, who gives a polite smile back towards her father, not wanting to have interrupted or said anything in this conversation, and he looks back to you, Dad. He says, "I am very proud of you," and goes to leave the hall. As you hear his footsteps leaving and then heading back up the stairs, Ephraim looks over towards you and says, and kind of gives a sigh and says, "I think you're a little hard on him, but I understand it. I'm not going to fight it."
At least your parents didn't try to stab you when you came to say hello.
That's true. Star's mom pulled a knife on us, so...
She looks at you kind of discerningly and looking to Star and says, I trust you might have had the same much the same upbringing as Den did with our father then."
No, I was just a bit of a little shit, really.
"Oh, well, so was she."
Well, you know, when you don't act the lady in a house of ladies.
"I suppose not." And she looks next to her at Zinstor, who's still not making eye contact with anyone, and looks around the table and says, "From the stories that I've heard, I think I could guess who most of you are. I don't know who you are, though. And she points over to Holly.
Right. This is Holly. My first mate. And I look at Holly, like
She
pick a word.
She kind of pats you on the shoulder and gives you a smile and looks back towards your sister and says, "We sleep together." And your sister says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Holly," and leans, kind of puts her hand forward, and Holly leans like over the table, kind of climbing on top of it because it's a very large circular table, and shakes her hand and says, nice to meet you too, Efren.
Yeah, to be fair, we do other stuff too.
I know, I just knew that would throw you off the most. I'm her girlfriend, if we're putting labels on it, I guess.
And also my first mate. That part was true.
That part is true. And then Efren sort of smiles and says, "It's a pleasure to meet somebody that's been able to put up with my sister. So I imagine that you are quite a strong person then, Holly." And Holly gives a wide smile and says, "You have no idea." There's kind of a little bit of laugh, or your sister sort of snickers a bit, and Princess sort of does too. And she says, Efren says, "So, were you telling the truth when you told Father you wouldn't be here for long?"
Yeah, come home very shortly for this whole induction business, whatever it is, and then we've got some pressing matters to attend to.
Well, I suppose I'm glad that you're here at all, then.
Gonna have to come sometime, I guess.
I told you would. So, I guess you have this business with the guy hid, then.
Yeah.
Are you going to be getting a commission?
Seems that way.
I'm sure that Karis will be very jealous at that.
Incredibly.
Well, when you go tomorrow, I'd like to go with you if possible.
Yeah.
Good. So, she looks to Zinstor and says, I forgot to tell you, and he looks at her and says, "What?" I found the book that I was telling you about, and she goes, "You did? Truly?" He says, "Yes, it was at within the academy there. Here, come with me, I'll show you." And she gets up from the table, and he sort of awkwardly stands up from the table too, and looks around, like doesn't make eye contact with any of you. And Efren sort of grabs him by the hand and says, "We'll be back down later." And the two of them head upstairs.
So how can we make his life a living hell for the next, until he decides to depart?
I don't know, but we can think of something, because this is worth every bit of it.
Dirt, right? So much dirt, guys.
So much.
They're so cute.
But also, like, he's like the prince of an entire country. I mean, this is like gold.
He's my prince. It makes my life 10 times better.
They're so cute together.
They are. I would admit that.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
And Holly, nice job. Nice job making 10.
She looks over to you, then she says, I was just messing. I'm sorry if was...
No, it's great. It's fine.
All right, because I'm not really sorry. It was funny.
Yeah. Just maybe don't
I won't do that around your parents. No.
Yeah.
So what are we eating soon? I'm really hungry.
Yeah, well, don't let my mum hear you say that, because she'll
I'd
go
be
into a
interested in
cooking
trying
frenzy.
some Triton food.
What was that you said, Star?
I'd really be interested in trying some Triton food. I mean, I grew up eating a lot of fish anyway.
Don't eat the people. That's not. That's
I
not.
don't,
what
I don't
you're
think. Never mind.
But I guess we could get changed before we eat dinner.
Yeah,
I don't really. I don't want to wear my plate to dinner. That would probably be awkward.
well, I would do it just to spite my father, but I don't want to be the only one in armor.
You
do know that the moment you take off your armor, something bad is going to happen, and you're going to need it.
I will say too, Den, as far as like changing and stuff, if you anybody wanted to change, you have your room with all your clothes, and you could probably find clothes for everyone else based on stuff that your brother's clothing, and your younger sister's clothing.
Yeah. I'll go hunt around and see what I can find. I don't wear any of the clothes that are in my room because they're all like stuff that I never wore when I lived here. It's all like dresses and fancy lady stuff. So I'm gonna go into Karis's room and take some of his clothes and wear them.
Fair enough. Yeah.
How mad do you think Den would be if I snuck a bow onto her?
She would kill you. She would most
I'd
definitely.
bring you back.
Can I hear him?
Oh,
Well, I'm assuming this is happening while you're going.
My passive perception is very high.
No. Star's smart enough and stealthy enough to at least have a conversation out of earshot.
Okay, well, before you guys start,
It's like near sight.
it's like nearsight.
Earsight.
My earsight. I will ask everybody like what they. I have lots of brothers and sisters and stuff, so I ask everybody what kind of clothes they prefer, and then we'll go fetch some clothes while they're plotting to be mean to me.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get something that would suit everyone's tastes, I think, sufficiently. It's Triton apparel, which I'm not a fashion expert. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but stuff Triton wear. Most of it is made of like thicker materials, or at least is lined with sort of water resistant materials as well. And everything feels a bit sort of like starchy to it. And is a bit heavier clothing than most of you, I think, are used to, just because it has that sort of water resilience to it. So, what's going on with the bow?
So, perhaps I go and quickly try to find one of Den's siblings. I'm sure they could help out or would be happy to. And then maybe just if I perhaps need to walk past her now and then, I just sneak one on somewhere.
I think this is what I want to do with this. So as Den's going around in a clothes, she goes into Karis's room and gets to like shuffle through stuff in there. Den, when you go into Karis's room, it's pretty much exactly as you remember. It's mostly walls lined with like maps. There's a few like weapons set and like around the room, mostly like training swords and stuff. A few little like pieces that were probably bought or requisitioned from the Glyhith himself that you can see that he collected. But mostly everything is untouched and it's well cleaned, as if assuming your mother probably comes in here very often to make sure it's well kept.
While I'm in there,
Yeah.
I look through his stuff, because we sort of shared a group of friends, to see if I can find any like correspondences or anything between them and him from like before they left, because I know that I used to do that stuff and like pass notes outside the palace and stuff, so I try to see if he's got anything hidden there.
Also, you can make an investigation check with advantage, because he's your brother. While you're doing that, though, Star, you're going down the hallway and you go to like sneak into one of the rooms, and you hear kind of a behind you as you see Brennan, that's short, the like 14-year-old Triton, little girl in her kind of beige blouse and slacks as well, kind of leaning against the wall, and she says, "What are you doing?"
Briny, right?
I hate that.
Sorry, but you haven't seen your sister in a while, so I'm sure you'd like the chance to annoy her as much as possible.
What are you doing?
I need bows. Maybe I could sneak onto her outfit at some point and maybe spruce her up a little.
All right, and she goes, kind of kicks or opens the door next to her. She's like, "Come on, come on!" And she leads you into her room, and she goes rummaging around in one of the dressers, and she pulls out a handful of like red ribbons, and she says, she hands them over to you, and she says, she kind of looks you over a bit, and she says, "Are you one of those sneaky types? Do you know how to pick locks?"
Want me to show you how?
"I'll give you these ribbons if you show me how to pick a lock."
Deal.
She holds out a hand to you.
I shake her hand.
All right, shakes your hand, and then she hands you a handful of ribbons as well.
And then I go over to lock on her bedroom door, and the first time I do it, it's just as quick as possible, so she can't possibly see it.
Okay, you pick the lock, and you kind of fidget with it just for a few seconds. It's an easy lock to open. It clicks, and she sort of goes, "Whoa, wait, do it again!" And she comes like rushing up, gets like really close to the lock this time.
And I'll spend a bit of time showing her how it's done, how you lever the things.
All right.
And
she gets a basic enough understanding of it at that point, and she is thoroughly entertained by the whole process. And she goes and she takes a few like kind of like, I guess something like little pins or needles and stuff, and goes to like practice with them on the door for a bit. And you have the ribbons too. So you're gonna do that, and we'll get to that as soon as Dan, you're in the room. What'd you roll?
I actually rolled 2 14s.
Oh, nice.
So 12.
12. Okay. I mean, you know your brother well enough, and you go kind of rummaging around the room, but there are some, you kind of check under the bed and like up in this closet, and you do find some kind of stashed away belongings, and there are some notes among them. You find a lot of notes that the two of you kind of passed back and forth, and you do find some like more recent notes between him and Fallon and Dane and Nabis, and the three of them sort of, some of them discussing you. A lot of them you're only getting their side of the conversation, but it seems like he was asking them if they knew where you had gone. Dane, it seems, did tell him where you were, or that you would run away. Yeah, because Dane was the one you were sending letters to her. Yeah. And she does seem to give him an indication of that you had left, and you see the beginnings of this conversation that seems that they were having to go and look for you.
I get the impression that they thought they knew where I was.
Yeah, you do get the impression from your last correspondence with Dane. She did know that you had been, I'm trying to remember the last point that you were having a conversation. I believe it was before you joined the Windwalker ship, that you were sailing. And I think the last message that you sent probably came from the, I think it would have come from near, or kind of northern Vale Forge, over near where Porn Onrix would have been. And so I think probably the last letters that they were sending, the notes were passing, was to head towards Vale Forge.
Okay.
So, you do find those, and you get the clothing that you need. You all are dressed. Star, did you want to try to do your thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you make 2 checks. One's gonna be a stealth. Well, I don't think you're really having a stealth because it's mostly just sleight of hand. So I'm just gonna have you make a sleight of hand check, contested by dense passive perception.
Come on. Yes. 23.
And your passive perception is an 18.
19.
19. As you're walking past Den in the hallway after having dressed, and she hands you, or she's handing out some clothing to Lil, and as she's sort of bending over to hand that to Lil, you just with an already like pre-tied bow, you just slip it over and just like knot it just at the end of her hair. And just like right at the end of her braid, there's a little like crimson red bow. And as you do that, and you just keep walking, and Bryden is kind of at the other end of the hallway, watches that happen, and just like starts snickering like loudly. And I think
what are you laughing at?
Yeah, as she's snickering, you do hear that, and you kind of wheel around, and she just kind of giggles, then just goes running down the hall.
What did she do?
I didn't see her do anything.
Little shit.
I'm sure she had something nasty planned.
So you all get ready for dinner, and as the bell rings once again, you all make your way down the stairs and further and into the manor itself until you enter a large dining hall. And it as ostentatious and as beautiful as the rest of the building. This one has even more of that gold inlay. There is a hearth on the far side of the room with these stones in it that seem to be glowing red near the top, like they're giving off their own kind of heat and warming the space a bit. Not a whole lot. It seems like most of the Triton here are accustomed to keeping it very cold. It's a lot like living in Florida. So it is about 10 degrees chillier in any of the rooms here than you would probably be comfortable with. But there's a little bit of warmth coming from this hearth. There are some paintings on the walls as well. These beautiful oil paintings of sort of underwater landscapes. You see these sort of rolling sand hills with bunches of kelp and seaweed kind of growing up and swaying, and these abstract patterns to them, and these like shimmering, multicolored fish and whales and stuff, all in this sort of abstract form, and an art style that many of you probably aren't familiar with. And as you all go to sit down, most of the whole Nelstreth family is here, and as you all sit in conversation, the dinner begins. And as you're sitting down, Den, Holly kind of puts her arm around you a bit, and she kind of gives a look, and she kind of tugs at the back of your hair a bit, and she holds a small little red ribbon up to you, and she says, "You wearing bows now?"
No.
I didn't think so. She sort of takes it, tucks it into a pocket. You go scanning the tables.
Does the rest of the party see this happen?
Lil is just.
I would like to insight check the entire party.
Make an insight check.
Oh, it's really good. 28.
Crap. I guess everyone... Star, just roll the deception check, because you're the only one that really matters. I don't know if you can roll that high with the deception check. No. Okay. You see, look around the room, and everyone's sort of like, most of your group is sort of a little scared of you right now. Star is just like looking very interested at his plate and like sort of inspecting the silverware a bit and not really like making eye contact with you. And you just sit there and stare at him for a bit. And so eventually you do look up and you catch eye and you lock eyes with Den for a moment. And she knows. And at that point, Brennan, who is sitting a couple seats away, is just like dying laughing, and is just like rolling over in her chair. And your mother looks at her and says, "Brennan, please control yourself at the table a bit. Please, let's all eat." And you can all begin to eat the food in front of you, and it's a wonderful meal. There is a pretty much like a full like seared marlin in the center of the table, like you'd have like a boar at like a fancy feast in a surface city. This is a stuffed and roasted, just massive fish in front of you, probably the biggest fish most of you have ever seen. And you begin to like cut off pieces of that, and it's served with some other like vegetable type foods, sort of like kale. You get the impression it's seaweed or other kind of underwater growing plants, and it's all very delicious and salty. And you all have a good meal. I think there's a little bit of, if there's any conversations you guys want to have, but I think for the most part, there's a little bit of conversation between, you can hear Efren and Zinstor kind of having a hushed conversation at one end of the table, and your mother leans into Holly, and they have a pretty long conversation about kind of the same thing Efren was asking about, how you put up with Den. Because at this point, I think your mother probably knew right away who Holly was, and your father is kind of chimes in a few times in that conversation a bit, but like just pleasant conversation and small talk amongst that about like where Holly's from and what got her to sailing and that sort of stuff, and for the most part she deflects, but yeah, so there's some pleasant conversation there.
He leans into Star. She's going to kill you. I just want you to know it's going to be painful, and I'm not sure if there will be enough of you that Lil can bring back. I hope it was worth it.
She needs to find me first.
I'm pretty sure the captain knows where you are.
Don't doubt my bringing back skills.
I'm not
Lots of practice with you.
That's true. That's very true. I've died like 3 times. I'm just saying, there was a body that you could use. I don't think there's going to be a body with Star. He's going to be turned into paste.
Oh no! See, I don't see Den as gonna be. She's gonna. It's gonna hurt, Star, but I don't think she's gonna kill you. I think she's just gonna hurt you.
Really bad.
I was prepared for this eventuality. I still think I've got a way I can get out of it. It'll be great.
We will find out in the coming months.
So yeah, you have a pleasant and semi-awkward family meal with the Chancellor's family. Any other conversation anybody wants to have during dinner?
I just have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Do Trident have guns?
No.
I just want to generally scan the room and just see the reaction to Sad Alex July.
Do you have your gun with you at the dinner table?
No,
Just
but I
like
mean, they saw
just
me-
like in general over the day.
It just
No,
like-
I definitely was going to talk to at least her father about that, or any other interested party.
I think probably, yeah, that conversation comes up at some point, and he looks over to you and he says, "So am I to understand you're a weaponsmith or a blacksmith of some kind?"
Yes, sir.
I'd be interested to know the difference between the armaments of. Well, we do some business with Karat and Balavar, and we've done some business with Ondok here as well. Mostly, it's been swords, sort of basic armaments that we're accustomed to. But it seems that you wield some devices or instruments that we haven't seen before. Are those common amongst where you're from?
Well, the thunder cannon, as I've come to call it, is sort of my specialty. I have a shop back in my hometown of South Harbor, near Randall, that I custom make them. If you, I don't know, I'm sure you have, if you have someplace, an open area, we could take it out sometime, and I'd be glad to show you how it works.
He he sort of looks, gives a discerning nod and says, "Would it work underwater?"
Yes, sir, it would.
Interesting. And how does the device work? Is it some sort of magic, or is it?
It is infused with magic. So there's no gunpowder like you'd normally see, which is how it's allowed to fire underwater.
Gunpowder, I'm not familiar with.
Well, typically in firearms, you use a sort of this black powder that, when enough friction is created within the gun, it's struck, and it ignites the gunpowder, which fires the projectile. But in this case, it's just some magic that I've put into the gun, and it fires without the need for gunpowder.
So similar to a crossbow or something of that nature.
Sort of like a crossbow.
Interesting. And is it fire small like spears or
Bullets.
And you can see he has no idea. Like, guns are not something that he is familiar with at all. So a lot of the words you're using, he's kind of nodding and not like really understanding. He says, "I'd be interested to see this in use." He looks around and says, "We don't have anywhere inside, and I think something like that could be used, but perhaps out in on the estate could give me a demonstration."
Oh, certainly, I'd be glad to.
He gives a nod and kind of looks over towards Lorraine, who just sort of shrugs and then shakes her head, going back to her conversation with Holly and some of the others, and boys going out playing with guns after dinner.
I was just saying, Dad and Grandpa are gonna have some drinks and go out and shoot some guns. It's like my
That's
real Alabama childhood.
Honestly, I was
like my real life.
trying to think of like what would the trite equivalent of like a cigar and a glass of scotch be. But we'll get to that. Or we can say that that after the dinner, you go outside with him and sort of demonstrate the weapon a bit. I mean, you know that its lethality is sort of diminished underwater, so you don't have to worry so much about having as large of an area to fire, because the bullets won't travel as far. But you are able to go out into the sort of estate surrounding the home afterwards and demonstrate the weapon. And I think he's very intrigued by that, and probably a little bit of conversation afterwards about your business. And I'd say probably you can come back inside and afterwards, and he says, "Do your business? What's the name of it again?"
Saddell's Battle Cry.
Battle Cry. Do you do any business outside of South Harbor?
A little bit, not much, but I'm looking to expand my horizons.
Would you be interested in starting a shop in Nelsbury?
Absolutely.
We have, as I'm sure Dennis told you, we have many smithies here and other ironworks that work within the city. Forging and industry like that is a bit more difficult down here. We use a bit of magic and other means to sort of augment the difficulties we have in working with metal compared to surface cities. But I think we could have a use for something like that down here.
Yeah, I'd be glad to work with you.
I'll draw up some paperwork and discuss it with some of the other, I'm trying to think of the word, some of the other nobles in the city, and see what we can work out. But of course I can be in communication with Den, and perhaps we'll be able to open up a shop here as well.
I like the sound of that.
And he takes out his Triton cigar and has a puff on it as you guys are sitting on the porch.
It's a hand-rolled cigarette, but it's like kelp.
It's like kelp. Yeah. um, as you're having a drink. Back to the dinner. I don't know if any other conversation is going to be had before this is happening. Yes.
Yeah, Star actually wanted to try get some of the recipes that was used from Loren.
Okay. Yeah. And I said, I think she says, "Oh, do you cook?"
My mother tried teaching me, but the lot of it never really stuck when I began traveling. But I'm sure she'd love to know how other ways fish could be prepared, especially, well, from the native ground.
No, I understand. Of course, I can share some of my recipes with you as well. If I think I have some that Den was a big fan of when she was younger. It took a long time. She actually hated fish for the first 5 years after she was born. It was impossible to get her to eat anything. We had some meat brought in from the surface, and I believe cow or pork or something like that was what it was. We cooked it and we made it, and she loved that. Wouldn't eat anything else afterwards. Eventually, we got her to eat eventually, but it was a bit of a pain after that. But I do have some recipes that I could pass along with you, and perhaps give Den a better taste of home. And she kind of leans and says, maybe she'll come home more often.
I'm sure I could try to provide. I mean, we do have a cook on the ship. I'm sure they would love to have these recipes as well. And if they wouldn't mind teaching me how to cook, then I can definitely give her some fond memories to remember during our travels.
Of course. And she says, I'll get some together and give them to you. Don't let me forget before you leave. So now you do get that, and we can say before you depart at some point, she does get those together and hand you some small kind of scratched out recipes that for a few different types of prepared fish and other meals that are common amongst the Triton nobility and common folk here in Elstree. 101 ways to cook a salmon. I'm just kidding. I don't think they have salmon here. But yeah, so you have you get those recipes. Anyone else doing anything over dinner? Okay. So eventually the evening comes to a close. Grandpa and Dad are out on the porch smoking a cigar and talking about guns. Everything's sort of winding down. Brennan falls asleep at the table, and your mother goes and picks her up and says, I'm going to retire for the evening. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you, and I have to say, I've been nervous since knowing what Den has been out there doing all these years, and it does make me feel better to know that she's out there with all of you. Thank you. And she sort of, Brian sort of begins to twitch a bit. She goes, shh, and he goes to take her out of the room and upstairs, which leaves pretty much you, and I think Viserion probably begins to sort of grow tired as well. She's been like all up in every conversation the entire meal and talking with everyone, and then it's very like kind of sitting on her feet at the table, like kind of very energetic, and now it's beginning to wane down a bit, and she gives a big yawn and goes up to you, Den, and then gives you a hug and says, are you leaving tomorrow?
Probably.
Okay. When are you gonna be back?
I don't know.
Soon?
Ish.
Okay.
All right.
Will you bring me something next time?
Will I
write to me.
Will I bring you something?
Yeah, bring me something.
What do you want? There's just a lot of water and stuff.
You go places without water, right?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, bring me something cool. I'm stuck here all the time.
All right. What do you want? A book?
Sure, I guess. That'd be good.
Like a sword or something?
No, book's better. Yeah. Do they have any like clothes or anything that might?
Yeah. People in other places wear clothes.
Yeah, bring me some clothes from somewhere else.
All right, you got it.
Okay. And she gives you another hug, and she goes, kind of skipping out of the room. Which pretty much leaves you with Efren's in store, and well, that's pretty much all of you, because I think Grandpa and Dad at this point have gone out and to shoot guns. And Holly.
Have Zinstor and Efren just been chit-chatty over in?
I think they've been chit-chatting a lot of it, and I think you probably catch a little bit of the conversation, and it's like 99% like talking about like magic and like different like say. I mean, they're just like nerding out together pretty much the entire time.
Yay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So, but yeah, their conversation, and I mean, it's that. And also like flirting a bit. I mean, it's not. It's very clearly and very obvious to pretty much everyone at the table that there's something going on there that they don't want to think anybody knows about.
Okay, cool.
So, Efren, kind of finishing up a conversation with Zinstor, says, "Well, it's late, so I guess I'm gonna head off to bed. Are you staying here? Or are you heading back to your ship?"
That's Efren, because it sounds a lot like Holly.
It does sound a lot like Holly.
I was like, wait, who's talking to me?
Sorry, hold on. I get the voice back. There's been a lot of different voices at this table. He says, are you heading back to the ship, or are you staying here for the night?
I don't know. What do you guys think? You want to stay?
It's up to you.
It would be nice to be able to stay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of more for being in the walls right now.
I don't know which one would be easier for you to get at Star while he's sleeping.
As Sato walks back into the room, gun over his shoulder, your dad behind him, like, kind of walks in and sees most people are gone, and says, "Good night, everyone," and heads back out.
I mean, the ship is a lot more close quarters, so this place is large. It's a lot
for Star to get away.
He can hide
Do
here.
you really think I don't know every single quiet nook and cranny on that ship?
It's Den's ship, which she probably knows as well as you do.
Even that little spot in the cargo bay where if you like move some of the boxes just right, there's that weird crack you kind of slide into once where it was repaired.
I do now.
Damn it!
I assume everyone would like to sleep in a bed. For once.
Yes.
Alright, we'll stay the night.
She's excellent. Well, I am exhausted at this point, so I'm heading off to sleep. I guess if you're leaving early in the morning, make sure you get me before you leave. All right?
All right.
It was wonderful meeting all of you. See you tomorrow. And she looks at Zinstor and gives a smile, and he gives a smile back, and she walks gracefully out of the room.
How you doing, Zin?
You're not going to follow her.
Staring at the table and says, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Mm-hmm. Look at this. The Prince of the Empire blushing. I never thought that would happen.
I could still have you beheaded.
It's very true, you could. But I've been living under that for years now, so it doesn't really bother me.
All right.
That wouldn't. Well, no, that wouldn't affect your diplomatic relations. So, whatever.
I mean, it's nice to know there are so many good diplomatic relations going on between us three and Ondolkia.
It's really comforting.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm done with conversation for the evening, so perhaps I will retire as well.
Good night, Zin.
Good night, Prince.
Good night, assholes. And he sort of stands up and he dusts off his robe a bit and heads out of the room as well.
That didn't go so bad then. You okay?
Yeah,
How's it feel being back home?
it's alright.
They didn't attack you on sight, which is a good thing.
Never expected they would.
I always expect when I go home I'm going to be attacked on sight, so...
So who wants to place bets on what happens when we finally get to Ondolkia?
We're all going to die. I'm just letting you know now.
All of you, maybe.
Well, I'm going to die again.
Again, they have to catch me first. On that note, I think I'm just gonna go and find my room. I'll see you all in the morning. I
Will you?
rush out the door.
Hopefully
Are you actually-
make it that far.
Are you actually going to your room, or are you going to try to sleep somewhere else?
No, I'm actually gonna head to my room.
Okay, you head up quickly to your room.
But
There's a
before
lot.
going to my room, I do turn myself invisible and go to my circuitous route possible.
Okay. There are locks on the inside of the doors too, so you can lock that too.
Then we'll just kick the door in.
That's up to
Yes,
you.
and I'm the only one in the party with a passive perception as good as hers. Aha!
Yes,
All right.
for noticing someone kicking a door in.
So you have you make it to your room, I think, safely, unless somebody is pursuing Star. But leaves you all. Are you all heading off to bed too? Okay. You all head afterwards. I think probably you head up afterwards, and Star goes in such a roundabout way that actually ends up coming around the corner, and you just watch as the door to his room just like opens on its own and then closes on its own.
Lou is actually,
Yeah.
if they will permit him, just walk around because he's never been in like this big of a like Triton city, so he just wants to walk around the compound and just look.
Sure. Yeah, you can definitely do that. So you head back outside. The bracing cold ocean definitely wakes you up a bit, and just sort of swim around the compound a bit. Yeah, you can definitely do that. There are guards outside, but I mean, the estate itself is so large. I mean, most of the guards on the outside, if you want to leave the estate too, I mean, they don't stop you. Actually, one of them would probably communicate to you if you want an escort or something. But you can make your way around the inner cities pretty much. It looks like you guys have been giving, even are trusted enough to do so.
Oh yeah, he does the whole tourist thing, and he asks a whole bunch of questions, and just
and it's late, so most of the guards are kind of like, you get the impression from the guard is like, why are you doing this so late? I'm so tired. But they do show you around as polite as possible. It looks like there aren't many shops or anything. Mostly here it's just like noble estates towards this inner part of the city. They point out to you the Azure Sanctuary. That's this large dome structure at the center. And they kind of point you in the direction of there are some other places throughout, and not this central ring, but throughout some of the other rings beyond the residential ones that and some shops and other places that you might be interested in. If you do go to any of them, most of them are closed at this point, but you get a pretty good idea of the city, and it is beautiful even at night. You can see the kind of far above in this dark waters above you. You can see the just faintly glistening moon, like kind of cresting in. It's just diffused and coming down these piercing shafts all throughout this lake. You can see these schools of fish kind of make their way close to the city and then turn around quickly, like alien birds almost in this surreal environment. And it is entrancing and beautiful, even at night. Anything else, or just getting an idea? Okay.
Yeah, he's just getting a lay of the land, and
Yeah, I think you get a pretty good idea of the city. The rest of you head off to sleep, resting for the evening. Any other shenanigans or?
Not for during the night, but Star wants to get up early in the morning to do something. So, if anyone's got any nighttime shenanigans they have planned,
Any nighttime shenanigans?
I do, but I'm gonna whisper them to you.
Oh, whispers. I so rarely get those.
We can take our headphones off if you want to.
Been
Actually,
nice
so
knowing
that
you,
everybody-
Star.
Oh no, you don't.
Doesn't even want the chat knowing. Wow.
So when's Jasper coming back?
I don't know. I think I've still got his character sheet.
You had to do it. You had to.
Oh, okay.
So totally worth it.
All right then. Okay, so that
Oh God!
you all wake up in the
I'm
morning.
actually terrified.
You all wake up in the morning to Star's bloody head. Oh no! You all wake up. None the worse for wear. Den and Star, though, you guys have pretty high passive perceptions. You do hear very early in the morning a door opening down the hall. Den, you're right next to your sister's room, and you hear the door of your sister's room opening and then close again. Do you do anything, or do you just?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm like, I go to the door and I just like open it so slowly, and just like one eye like peek out.
All right. You see Prince Zinstor like just walking very softly down the hallway, has his robe sort of over his shoulder, like shirtless right now, his pants on, but is just very slowly making his way down the hallway, goes over to his room, just like quietly opens the door and kind of looks around a bit, and then makes his way inside.
I do a sending spell to the prince.
Oh my god.
To the prince.
Okay.
And all it says is, nice.
There's no response.
And then I shut the door and go back to bed.
Okay. You all wake up at a reasonable hour. Oh, sorry, Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wake up early.
Star is just gonna sneak over to Bryony's room and just give a quick surreptitious knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door and you hear about shuffling inside. You just hear a voice inside. It's like, go away.
I just do it again.
Knock on the door again. You hear a against the door as like a pillow is probably thrown across the room, and it just goes, go away.
Okay, this time I just pick the lock. I don't even know if the door's locked or not, but actually I'll try the door first, and if it isn't locked, I walk in.
I think as you like mess with the door a bit, you just hear this huff inside. It says like, what you want? And you just see the door open. You see Bryony with like her hair is all messed up, and she's wearing a nightgown right now. And she looks like she's like, what?
You almost look as bad as Den in the mornings.
What
Not quite,
time is it?
but still early. But last night was pretty great, wasn't it?
What do you want? I am so tired.
You know, if you really want to be a pirate or a spy, you need to get used to these things.
Oh. Okay, so what? I have to be a pirate. I have to wake up super early and not get any sleep, and I don't want to be a pirate. Then she shuts the door.
I just put the claw in the door. Not quite, but if you want to receive gifts, you should really be up early enough for them.
What?
I give her my set of thieves' tools.
You stick those through the door, and she takes it. She says,
They're a bit used and... well, sure, but they've never steered me wrong. I'm sure you could find some fun with them.
takes them and sort of rolls them up. Thanks.
Just make sure your parents don't find them, otherwise I'll have your sister trying to kill me for a second reason as well, and I really don't need that.
Yeah, they're not gonna find them. Can I go back to sleep now?
Sure. I'm sure you won't get any other rude awakenings.
You're kind of creepy, you know that?
It comes with a job.
Just shuts the door in your face and locks it. And then you hear like a bookshelf moving against the door.
Oh, good, she's learning. And I just go back to my room.
Okay. You all wake up then at that point, and get ready for the day, all coming out into the foyer downstairs and whatever morning activities you need to, and eventually Prince Instor comes down and just walks right past you, Den.
I haven't said a word. I don't say a word to anybody.
And a little bit later, Everett comes down, smile across her face, and says, "Well, should we be going then?"
Yeah.
Excellent. I haven't been in the sanctuary in some time. I hope Evelyn's doing all right.
Is that what she is?
I'd imagine so.
Can't say I'm surprised. Our other almost youngest sister.
She is I guess, not really following in your footsteps, but did find a calling there as well, and has taken herself there as one of the faithful. So
Good for her.
she seems to be happy. But we'll say hi when we're there. Let's go then. And she heads out to the doors and pushes them open. You hear one last sort of like throat clearing from behind you, and you see your mother kind of come around the corner and says, "Are you leaving?"
We're going to the sanctuary. I assume we'll stop in to say goodbye.
All right. Well, in case you don't, and she runs up and gives you a hug too. That leaves back, and you can see your father kind of lurking back a bit. And as this conversation ends, and he steps forward and says, I shall be accompanying you as well. As Chancellor, I have to oversee these things too.
I assumed as much.
Rest upon then, and make their way out into the ocean once again, surrounding the estate. You all swim back, kind of out of the manor, and back towards the massive domed structure at the center of the city. As you approach, you can see this the sheer mass of it, the size of it, growing and growing as you approach. And you can see along the bottom there are a few domed sort of tunnel entryways, or a few circular tunnel entryways into the dome itself, guarded by Triton, positioned all on the outside of it. And as you approach, they give a salute towards your father, who then leads you inside. And the wall is about 20 or 30 feet thick before you eventually enter into, still underwater, a shimmering blue interior that stretches out to either side for pretty much as far as you can see underwater in this in the darkness. And you look up, and at the center of the room underwater is this like column that seems to extend upward, and again is very thick, a few hundred feet across. And it looks like it sits at the center of this dome and extends upward to where you can see the surface of the water, another air pocket or bubble. And you can see the shimmering surface of the water above you, and begin to swim up that direction. And one by one, you all emerge into the Azure Sanctuary. Essentially, from the inside, there is the dome itself has a a bubble of air within it, expanding about half the dome's height. And this structure at the center, the stone slab or dais, rises up just to the water's surface, giving a large circular platform at the center of this dome. And everything up here, as soon as you emerge, is this just shimmering blue color of these crystals spread throughout the interior of the dome, reflecting off the water's surface, and then back towards the crystals, and this shafts of light piercing and cascading all around with movement of the ocean's currents. There is at the center of the room a shrine to, as Den would know, and I don't know if you communicated to them, but there's a shrine to Elena, a Triton deity at the center, but it isn't so much a depiction of her form as it is a statue of these crashing waves coming outwards from a central point, and then this like fountain of water that seems to sporadically kind of splash up and out and then onto the stone surface, which is damp with about half an inch of water as the water sort of rushes over it. And standing in here right now are about 30 or 40 fully armored Glyhid that are all positioned in rows and standing at attention all throughout the interior of the sanctuary. Moving amongst them, you can see there are other Triton that are in these white robes as well, these priest figures that are attending to the sanctuary. As you all step out, stepping up the stairs that then lead up to the largest, the highest point of this dais, splashing your water footsteps between the stone and the water itself, making your way towards the center. As you approach, there is a smaller Triton form of one of these priestesses that makes her way towards you, and you see your sister, Avalyn, that is approaching pretty much identical to when you saw her, just a little bit taller, a little bit thinner, and she has a hood placed up over her hair that's just kind of like lightly draping over the back portion of her head, and she has kind of a soft smile across her face, and your father approaches her and gives a smile and kind of stoops down and gives her a kiss on the cheek, and she walks over towards you, Den, and gives a smile and goes to give you a hug as well. And she doesn't say much except she says, "I'm glad you're okay."
It's good to see you.
She steps back and she says, "You have business here to take care of."
Yes.
Well, then I got you. And she kind of stops for a second. She says, "And Seraphine as well, I suppose." And she gives a bow and looks around to all of you and then steps back too. Your father leads you towards the center of the room. And it's there you see all these soldiers kind of converging, all of them standing there, shield and spear at hand, and towards the pedestal at this shrine in the center, there is a taller Triton man, has a helm under his arm, kind of a billowing bit of like feathering or hair of some sort coming off the helm and draping down into the water. The armor is sort of decorated with this sort of waving pattern, almost like spikes coming up it, but you see it's almost decorated in the fashion of this lapping waves all up the front of the armor and then down the back. Very intricate, very beautiful, and you've seen this pattern of armor before, some of the commanders when you were in Arlos. And as you approach, your father stops, gives a nod and kind of a salute towards this figure there. Dan, do you do anything?
I do the same thing.
Okay. The figure gives a salute back, and says, Denowin, am I correct?
Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you after all this time. I am Imperial Legatus Rallis, commissioned here and stationed within Nelsery. I don't believe we've ever met.
I don't think so.
He says, I don't suppose we ever would. I've been informed by Arlos and the Grand Chancellor that you have claimed to have accomplished a deed few have witnessed in this era.
The Kraken.
There's a little bit of shifting around as some of the soldiers around you is still staying at attention, but there's a little bit of that break of that as you confirm this probably conversation they've been having. The commander looks around, and soldiers very quickly stop any sort of action, and he begins walking towards you and says, I hope you understand that these sort of claims cannot be taken lightly. That if you have accomplished such a feat, that we owe you a great debt. But we will need to confirm this.
Ask anyone in Shia? Is that where we were?
He sort of shakes his head, but says, I don't put much to rumors. We have our own methods of getting to the truth of things.
I mean, I was eaten by the thing. I could tell you what its stomach lining looked like.
He sort of shoots a glance over towards you, and he says, and this is the rest of your crew, Gale Force, as I believe you're called.
Yes.
If you too were a part of and participated in the slaying of this creature, you shall be commended as well. But again, this is something that hasn't happened in some time, and I do believe you, if it means anything, and the Grand Chancellor certainly believes you. But there are some things we need to see for ourselves. And looks back, and you can see a couple of other Triton, these ones not in full armor, begin to approach, each one of them wearing robes with some plates upon them, carrying staves with belts. Their belts, you see like tomes cinched at their waist. And as they approach, two of them take, they're carrying behind them this large basin of water. And they bring it out and they drop it as a very heavy stone structure right in front of the commander. And he says, Denowin, please approach.
I approach.
One of the few figures wearing the robes sort of lowers, and you see a younger Triton man, shaved head, tattoos running around down the back of his head. And he walks up to you and he says, this won't need anything from you, but other than to step forward and place your hand towards the surface of the water.
Not a Kraken in there, is there?
He gives a smile. He says, no. Place on the surface, and as you do, there are these kind of ripples cascade from the calming turmoil as they set it down. And
I know he said it doesn't take anything from me, but I try to, like, thinking that I might know what they're doing, I try to, like, focus on, like, the memories that I have of fighting Shroxovith. And particularly Tova blowing him up.
Okay. The Triton...
With the thunder.
So, four of those Triton now wearing the robes, and you recognize the symbols on their armor or on the garbs that they wear. Den, they're also Glyhid, but they're from a different order. They're from the Domsa or Domhasa order of the Tome. And as they open these books and they begin to incite and incant in Aquin this ritual, and you all watch as the waters of the basin begin to glow slightly, and they kind of sputter, and then the water calms, except for this constant ripple that seems to pulse out from Den's hand. And the waters darken, and he watches as a bit of light returns, and you see the relentless gale. You see a ship. You see from Den's perspective as she goes running across the ship. You see her looking out towards the bay as you wait outside the river that led out from Thuxra, and with the chains rattling in the water, and you see a dark shape pass under the ship. And you all watch as the two glistening eyes appear in the water itself, and as a series of tentacles rise up out of the water, and as you can see, there's an sort of an audible gasp from one of the mages that is currently inducting or doing this ritual. And they watch pretty much the whole battle in silence. There's no audio, unfortunately, to this. As the battle takes place, they see the blasts of fire from the prince. They see the shadowy form of the vapor puppet. They watch as Star is flung off the ship and then consumed by the gaping maw of the kraken. Another gasp sort of ensues as that is audible as that happens. They watch as the tentacles begin to pull down into the water, and then finally as Den jumps in, they see the full form of the kraken Troxolith underneath the boat, as there is this pulse from inside of it. Lilibet has her sword jammed into the eye socket, and then they watch as the kraken sort of explodes from the inside and then dissolves away. And as this about hour and 45 minute no, I'm just kidding, it was about 10 seconds, or about 2 minutes of fighting, I think. And as that concludes, there's a silence that overcomes the interior of this chamber. The mages step away and they look over towards the Imperial Legate, who has just a slight sort of dumbfounded look across their face, or not really dumbfounded, but surprised and pride across his face as he looks at that. He says, "I never thought I would see a beast such as that in my lifetime. You and your companions truly stood against this creature and prevailed." He looks around at the group and he says, "Were all of you there for that? I believe I saw each of you within the vision there, but..."
Yep. We're Gale Force. We do stuff together.
And he gives a nod and says, "You have accomplished something that has been done many times in the history of the Triton, but not for, within living memory. You will all be commended for this."
If it matters, I want to just step aside and recognize Tova really quick.
Oh, yeah.
It was Tova that struck the killing blow.
And he gives a nod and looks at Tova and says, "I know not if you are foolhardy or one of the bravest mortal creatures that walks this plane of existence, but well done."
Why don't both?
To each one of you, well done. If you would kneel. And he goes to his side and he draws a long sword from his belt.
I kneel.
Was that to all of us, or was it just to Den?
All of you.
Oh, okay, yeah, then totally.
I'm
totally
looking around
kneel.
going,
Bring your knees to the ground.
I bend the knee.
Bend the knee. All right. So
can Saddle kneel?
if you can't kneel,
Especially in
they're
the
not
cold water.
Look, with bad knees, it's just a case of managing to get down there and back up again. Like, once you're there, it's fine.
He takes the sword and he sticks it down in front of him and places a hand on top of it. And he says, as Imperial Legate of Nelsry, to the members of Gale Force, I name you all Glidehid Honoris for your bravery in aiding one of our own. Denowin, Alandran, Talion, Norian, Nelsrieth, second in line for the seat of Chancellor of the Triton Protectorate of Nelsri, daughter of Selene, descendant of the new Guardians, faithful of Seraphine and Sentinel of the Deep, and captain of the Relentless Gale, and member of Gale Force. For your actions and bravery in assisting your people, I bestow upon you the title of Centurion Preferrer. Rise. As one of the Glidehid.
I'll stand up.
All right. And
And
I
if
think
Saddle needs help up, I help him up.
I think at that point, the train around that are at attention break attention at that point and begin to applaud at the captain or the legate applauds too, and they all sort of praise you for a moment for your deeds well done. As there's sort of this cacophony as echoing off the walls of this internal cavern.
I look at my dad.
He has a smile on his face and is clapping too and gives you a nod.
Okay.
All right. As everything's sort of dying down, the legate approaches you and says, "Well, you have your own commission, you're in charge at this point. I assume that you understood. We won't be giving any soldiers for you to command at this point. It seems that you have enough."
I don't
But-
think traditional soldiers would do that well under me.
He gives a smile and he says, "I don't know. It seems, based on what we watched just there, motioning to the basin, and to those that you're with, that you inspire some amount of leadership with them. So perhaps if you return to Nelsiri on a more permanent basis, we might have a command for you here."
Noted.
Until then, you are a centurion of the Glidehid, with the ranking and privileges that entails. So, continue to do your duty, and when called upon, answer.
I will.
You are dismissed to your business, soldier. He salutes back and returns to, or kind of heads to his soldiers, who all head to attention, and he dismisses them, and they all begin to file out of the chamber.
Do you guys think I get a set of that armor?
You should definitely at least ask.
It's so cool, right?
or give me 5 minutes.
All right. Well, assuming you guys are all making your way back to or out of the chamber and back towards the Scale, are you stopping off to say goodbye? Is there anything else we need to do before you guys head back to the ship?
Oh, say goodbye to everybody.
Okay. Assuming you go to say goodbye and give your farewells to your family, and they all say goodbye to you. I think I think as you're saying goodbye to your family, Zistor does say, I was thinking I might stay for a little while longer. I should probably be getting home soon anyway, so traveling with you or heading home myself doesn't make much of a difference. But Efren and I have some business to discuss still, so I suppose we'll finish up with that, and then I will make my way back to Ondok here.
Is it writing wedding invitations?
Then there's no reason to be so immature. I'm sure your studies will go absolutely fine.
He ignores your comments, and he says, it has been a pleasure traveling with you all again. And I hope that I will see you soon enough.
You want to come back? Give us a ring.
Well, if you have any more krakens or dragons or
Insane cults?
wizards, yes, that too.
We've got a couple of things on the docket, so...
Call someone else, but anything other than that, then I am more than happy to help. And if you ever find yourself in Altuck here, look me up. My home is the biggest one.
Now that sounds familiar.
Farewell then, Gale Force. And he walks away. But from there, you guys say your goodbyes, unless there's anything else we need to play out there. Efren bids farewell to you. You take all your belongings. You guys head back to the Relevant Scale to pick up wherever you're going to head next. And that's where we will take a break. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Everyone who's out there, stick around. We got something special for you during the break for your viewing pleasure. And we will be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed our little slideshow there of our character art. Once again, put together by Morgan. That'll be running every game from now on. So you can look at all of our stats as they update or diminish or improve and get a little bit of facts about the characters. For the most part, it's going to stay that way for a while, and maybe we'll update facts later on or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, you can have an idea of who all is playing in this game. Anyway, and we have a new overlay right now. So this is alternate Survivors Complex. We're not going to switch it every time, but we are switching it now. So music, I just realized, is what I need.
I have a couple of really fun announcements if you need a second to get your stuff together.
Nope, it's up. What do you need?
Well, our first announcement is thank you to our new subscribers that subscribed today to our Twitch channel. We love you. Thank you for spending your money on us. And we will use it well. And that also, we've been trying to reach this goal for a while, and I'm really, really excited that we've finally done it. But we have broken 100 subscribers on our YouTube, and we'll be getting our custom YouTube URL very, very soon. So thank you, everybody out there who clicked that subscribe button, because you helped us nail it. So you're great.
Yeah, super excited about that. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, call to arms to get everyone out there to do that. So thank you so much for helping us with that. Appreciate it. But getting back to the game, you have all made it for the sake of Brody and all that. You left the city saying goodbye to Den's family, made your way back to the ship, Relentless Gale, emerging onto its deck once again, and then catapulting yourselves up to the surface of the water, emerging back under the blue skies of the territory of Balavar, the sweeping plains extending in every direction after or beyond the edges of this massive sea here in the landlocked center of this country. Where are you going?
Can I do a thing before we...
Yeah.
I mean, on the ship, but before we leave.
Sure.
I've been thinking about this for so long and I still don't know how to do it. I want to do a ritual of the commune spell, which I've never done before. And it lets me ask up to 3 questions, but I just have 1 question? I don't know if that translates into a better answer.
Maybe. What's your 1 question?
I want to ask Seraphine about Ulena.
Okay.
And whether or not she is a real legit god. Or if she's something else.
You sit down, you use the ritual and cast the spell, and you ask out that question as you burn the bit of incense around you. And that voice comes back to you from Seraphine, or an agent of Seraphine, you're not sure, but it speaks out to you and it's calming, and it says, "We find faith where we need it. I was once of divine, but not a god. The gods are what the mortals make them. That force is real, though.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. Okay.
Okay. So, ship bobbing on the surface of the water, beginning to drift its way back down towards the River Cons. Where are you headed?
Right, yeah, everyone. There's actually some stuff we need to talk about.
What's up?
Well, I assume I probably told you guys this happened, because it's been like a couple of months ago. At this point, I'm gonna feel like a jerk if I didn't. I sort of had a vision from my god, and you guys all remember Vesh, right?
Isn't that who we're supposed to help somebody else stop them?
Yeah, they stalwart keepers. You guys remember Fulcher, right?
Stole the divine
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're getting up to some really bad shenanigans, I think. And also might have a lead. So if
That's always good.
if we're looking for somewhere to go, I don't think I've ever been there, but the Eternal Hold?
I know them.
Yeah?
That's where I started my trading. My
Oh
paladin.
yeah.
I mean, it was a small little temple near my hometown, but I know them. I may be able to get us in and talk to somebody.
Lil, you would also know there is a citadel of the Eternal Hold, sort of their headquarters, just north of Karat.
And well, okay. So I've been thinking about this, guys. I should probably go home, just real quick, and kind of yell at my grandma, because that book that she gave me came with more strings attached to it than I realized. But then it's not too far from where the Citadel is for the Eternal Hold, and we could go there.
While we're on Bolivar, I still need to ask if anyone at least saw when my father went to try work out what's happened to him at least.
And I've got some friends in Karat, so
We could get wine. We could get some family wine.
yeah.
Stock the ship with some family wine.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. But yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to go home and Star, you're looking for something. I mean, we're all looking for Vesh, and I've got some friends there that might be able to help with both, so.
Should we find a place to dock up?
Karat, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll give some context here looking at the map too. So Karat is pretty easy to see on that map. It's right there. The Eternal Hold is just up the coast, within the same bay as Karat. It's sort of separate from the city, but you could sail directly there if you wanted to. If you wanted to go to Karat first, though, you could, but it'd actually probably be faster to sail straight there if that's what you wanted to do. And then Lil, your home is sort of the other direction. So I think yours is a little bit closer to the border. So it would actually be like over in this vicinity somewhere. So if you wanted to go up to the Citadel and then make your way back, you could.
Or if we came down the river, we could stop because the river is closer to my town and then go to Karat from there.
You could do that if you wanted to make your way, travel by land across that direction. You guys don't have any horses or anything, so it might be a couple days travel inland. It's up to you what you guys want to do.
What do you guys think?
I mean, don't want to get sidetracked. So that's just like the main goal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, Star, where was the last place they saw your dad?
All I knew was that he was on Bar somewhere.
Okay.
My plan was just to find some dive bars and ask around. That accent went all over the place. I apologize to everyone.
Well then let's go to the Eternal Hold and hit Kurat, and then if we got some time, then we can go and see my family. 'Cause they're probably fine. I really only want to see Gam anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I'll say that if, as far as traveling across the plains and to your home village, you could easily get like a caravan or something, or travel with a caravan from Karat, since your family's more like inland.
Yep.
If that's where you guys want to go to the Citadel and then back to Karat and then travel out that way.
That works for me.
Yep.
Okay. So to the Citadel first.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Lil probably would have been to the Citadel at some point. I would assume you might not have studied there, but you might have traveled there at some point.
I think probably to get the original like commission or whatever. I think you probably all have to go there. I'm
Yeah.
making this up
Yeah.
as I go, but let's go.
No, they'd have small little communities and stuff as they started here, and they've kind of slowly spread. It's a small group. It's not very large, but they have a pretty strong presence in Balabar. But you all make your way navigating south out of the river of Khans back into the Bay of Butchers, and following the coastline to the west and north, circling around towards where you know the Citadel to be. And I'd say probably part of the way, about the day before you get to the Citadel, you actually pass by and you can see that white marble city of Karat, and you make your way past it and further into the bay as it falls out of sight. About a day's travel later, you can see the gray stone structure in the distance, towering spires and thick stone walls surrounding a impressively sized citadel, sitting just to the northwest portion of this bay that it shares with Karat. As you approach, there are currently no ships moored outside the Citadel. There is a dock and a small road that seems to lead up towards this structure. It is an old building. Looks like it has stood here for many, many years, centuries before the Eternal Hold took their residence here, but it has been repurposed, and you can see banners carrying the symbol of the Eternal Hold draped over the parapets, and sort of standing resolute out over the bay. As your ship comes up towards the harbor, you drop anchor, and there are some small little like kind of fishing boats around. There's nobody here currently, but as you quietly make your perch yourselves here at the base of this cliff, you can look up and you can see the Citadel above you. So are you guys all going up to say howdy?
Yeah, I'll lead the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just said that. It's anyway, whatever.
Lil says as she stands.
I'll lead the way.
Yeah. You disembark from the ship, making your way up this narrow switchback road that makes itself up the cliff towards the Citadel. As you make your way up to the gates, the portcullis is closed, as it normally is. It's only raised for large processions to make its way through, but there are some smaller gates towards the sides of the main portcullis. As you approach, those are currently open, and you make your way inside. Be better music for this. see. Let's go with that. All right. As you enter, you see the towering, the main structure of the citadel. There are a few towers towards the center and a main sort of barracks. There's a large courtyard between you and this barracks that could probably hold a procession of a few hundred soldiers. There are some smaller buildings and outbuildings to the sides, a smithy and a stables out to the right and left. But something strikes you as you enter is that there is almost nobody here. There are a few kind of farmhands and people. There's like 2 horses in the stables. But other than a couple of people mulling their way about, it is quiet and it is empty. And you've been here when it was fully garrisoned. Usually holds about 500 soldiers or so, or devotees to the Eternal Hold.
Is it finals week?
I don't know what's going on. Usually it's a lot. Well, the one time I've been here, it was a lot busier.
And I run up to some farm boy or whatever and say,
where is everybody?
Turns around, wheels around towards you. Small little boy with a big kind of a rake that he was using to pull leaves off the ground. And he's like, "Oh, miss, they left a while ago."
Do you know where they went?
Oh, I don't know that, miss. I just work here.
Is there anybody in charge? Here.
Yeah, Corporal Chance is in the barracks right now.
Corporal. Okay, thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go tottering off to find the corporal.
Okay. You rush inside and through the open doors that lead into the barracks. And again, as quiet as here, you can see the massive entry hall area, tables scattered about where the soldiers would sit and eat, the kitchens in the back, all so quiet here. Normally a place full of conversation and laughter of soldiers off duty, currently sort of carrying on their free time, empty. And as you make your way in, there is one soldier at a table towards the back, a bunch of papers kind of around, is like scrawling at them, looks up and sees you all enter and stands, says, "Who are you all?"
Hi, I'm Lilibet Vinebottle. I'm a paladin that I trained with the Eternal Hold. And, where's everybody?
They left a few weeks back.
Where did they go?
That's whole business. So you said you're...
Yeah, I was ordained, whatever the word is. I don't remember. And I studied at the small enclave outside of Leeton. Yeah.
He says, "What's your name again?"
Lilibet Vinebottle. Paladin of Lilibeth.
Well, the vet, I know that what you're looking for here, but they left on a ranging mission a while back.
The whole garrison?
Yeah. It sounds a bit crazy when you talk about it, but... Well, some people came back looking for help, talked to the higher-ups. They've gone on a mission to seek religious awakening. Well, come sit.
Little bit. Does that sound like anyone we know?
Maybe.
Do you know who the Stalwart Keepers are?
Yes.
Well, they were here. Well, I assume you know who Vesha Lonson is.
Yes.
She came here and told us some things. Talked to the founders, Lady Nadia and Sir Garrick. rather persuasive. If I would have known.
So they okay. How long ago did they leave? And do you have any idea of which direction they went?
Well, that's the thing. They weren't really. Well, I know where they were going. They had 2 weeks back. We're making the way to. There's an island just north of here, about a few hundred miles. Maybe 10 days travel. They were making their way there for ritual.
So the whole garrison along with the founders?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a member of the Eternal Hold. You know what our dogma is.
Yep.
Trying to free the gods.
Yep.
She said that she had a way to do that.
She lied.
Well,
This is bad.
he looks over to you with a kind of scorn look on his face. He's like, I listen to her words myself. I believe her.
I've heard her words too.
Yeah. So not only am I a member of the Eternal Hold, but I'm also a member of Gale Force, which hopefully by this point you've heard of who we are. And
I know they gave the Stolekeepers a bit of trouble back in the Randall.
yeah, because they were bad.
That's not how Lady Vesh said it.
Sure, it's not.
Yep. That's okay. Well, Corporal, I appreciate your forthrightness, and I'm just gonna let you know that this could be bad. So keep your eye on the keep.
Well, that's what I was doing anyway. You're not the one that gives me orders here. I'm sorry
No,
about that.
I know. I'm just saying, this could get bad before it gets worse or something. Okay. I turn around and just shit. And I start walking out.
He's got a very confused look on his face as you're leaving, and kind of gets up from the table and is sort of watching you as you're going and speaking with your group.
Guys, this is really bad. Do we go there straight now?
Do we have a choice?
Not really. Did you want to go to Karat and get your friends?
They're not built for things like this. The priests,
Would they know about things passing through the country? Anything, well, this significance would well have spread that far. If they have an entire fort's garrison us at their back, I'd prefer to have as much information and be as prepared as possible.
I don't know, I can send a message. But I don't think we have time to go.
No, I don't think so either. If they're doing a ritual, you know how good that's gonna be.
Always bad. 100% of the time, rituals have been bad for us.
Not all rituals.
Didn't you just do a ritual on the ship? That didn't turn out bad.
Yeah, but when it comes to Folger and
Yes.
Stalwart, it's
The
bad.
keepers are bad.
Okay.
Let's go. I'll
Yeah.
send a message on the way and see if... What am I asking? I'll see if anyone knows anything, but...
You send a sending spell to the temple in Karat?
Yes, to Rena.
Rena, yeah, that's right. Make me look up names. Okay, so you all rush back to the ship. The corporal, follows you to the gates, kind of at a distance, not really stopping you, but just watches as you leave. As you all make your way down to the ship once again, you quickly tell your crew to get going and begin to reroute to follow north towards the island that he described to you. You don't know what island that is, but if they went with the sizable forces they did, there'd probably be a lot of ships there. But you can begin making your way that way and do your navigational skills. We'll address that when it comes up. The ship music. You send a sending spell to Rena. What are you saying?
Yeah, what do you guys want to know?
Have they seen any sizable force from the Citadel going anyway? Which direction, if they did? Were they bolstered by more people? Because I highly doubt that Vesh went alone. She probably had an army at her back.
Rumors of notable arrivals as well. Of course, we were expecting her name to pop up, but if she managed to find more allies, I'd prefer to know.
I ask if she's noticed anyone particularly interesting coming or going, particularly military, if the names Veshel, Onsen means anything to her, or the Stalwart Keepers.
Okay.
Also, I say, hi, it's Den, missed you.
Okay, you send that, and you get the response back. She's surprised to hear from you. She says, I think in as succinct a way as possible, says, the Keepers were here recently, recruiting. They left about a month ago.
I will pass along that information.
Okay. So you tell the group that information. If anybody says anything or has anything to say about that.
Well, let's get to the ship for sure, but how do we convince people that these Stalwart Keepers are the worst?
Catch them red-handed, I guess.
Let's say they have the better reputation than us. If we can directly divulge their current methods, means, and activities, then we have the means to pull their forces away at least.
I'm more interested in figuring out what they're doing.
Yeah, me too. The fact that they've got an entire garrison of the Eternal Hold is bad. Okay. Let's head north, I guess, this island.
Do we know anything about an island north?
There are lots of islands along the coast to the north, but like I said, I mean, I'll have the navigators make some checks and stuff.
Gotcha.
Look out for it. But they would have been moving with a pretty sizable force if the entire garrison went with them. So, Lil, that they had a couple of ships here. You can be on the lookout for those ships and on the lookout for the Keepers' ships as well. So, leaving the bay and heading your way north along the Broad Reef's expanse, you begin to scout for the ships of the Stalwart Keepers. A day passes. A few of you taking turns up in the crow's nest, keeping your eyes out. That's not the music I wanted. Let's go with that. On the second day of travel, that is also not the music I wanted. God damn it, music. All right, we're just going to go back to...
This is why you shouldn't keep the music on shuffle.
It's not on shuffle. I'm just like putting the music, but it's not the song that I want.
Damn it, iTunes!
There's a tension that I want, but I'm just going to leave no music for a second. Because as you make your way north on the second day of travel, you all the sun is beginning to set, just as it's hitting that dusk phase, and the sun setting over the ocean and casting this kind of eerie glow across the sea, a rolling bank of fog begins to sweep in. Catches you off guard out of nowhere. Clear day, and suddenly nothing. The crew seems a little bit perturbed and kind of off-put by this, and they begin to come up on deck and look around. You begin to hear something through the wind. This melody. As this humming takes the air, you all recognize it. And you all look around the ship, and on the water, you realize there are 3 figures coming of the ship from different sides, walking across the water in the direction of it. And the crew on the ship begin to panic for a second. But as they begin to reach for their blades, one by one, boom, 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 they all begin to fall unconscious, one after another, asleep on the deck of the ship.
Will breaks out into a little bit of a sweat.
Suddenly, with a sort of a wave of fog that comes through as the wind begins to swirl up, those 3 figures are gone.
I run over and start checking crew members to make sure they're just asleep.
Okay, you go over and you shake one of them, and they stir a bit, but they don't wake up, and you kind of roll him over. He's like clearly asleep, but you shake him a bit. He's not waking. And you hear now a voice echoing from the fog around you. These are the ones, aren't they? I believe they are, sister. Well, they don't look like much. I heard they killed Mother. Well, you hear a third voice. She wasn't much to begin with. I suppose Our Lady will want to see them, won't they? Yes, I believe so. And you see, and sitting on the bow of the ship, or up near it, she's sitting on the railing. You see a woman, beautiful, long black hair, red skin, with these sort of slash marks across her face, and this like branding or markings that like scarring that twist and turn in these patterns up and down her arms, her chest, her legs, and she's just sitting there cross-legged on the railing, and she says, "We have been looking for you." You took some things away from us. Tampering with some boundaries. So, will you come with us then?
To be honest, I'm sure if you've heard of us, you know the answer to that question.
I assumed so. And you hear her begin to sort of like whisper under her breath in this strange language, and you hear the two others now emerging on either side of the railing around you, beginning to mutter as well. I need you all to make Constitution saving throws.
Do we get anything from Lil?
I'll say, with the way you're spaced, two of you can get a bonus from Lil.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go Lou and probably Star.
And how much is that?
+4.
23.
Okay.
16.
19.
13.
Okay.
14.
All right. Everyone but Lou. Because nobody else rolled above a 20, did they? No. Everyone but Lou.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we fucked up.
Oh, we're so screwed.
And the three of them look over towards Lou now and say, "You're going to make this difficult, aren't you?"
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I'm not going to really roll initiative because there's not much to roll initiative for. So what are you going to do?
Okay. Let's see. How close are they?
Together?
Yeah.
Each one is probably about 30 feet away from each other. You're in the center of essentially a triangle right now.
Okay. Two of them, don't care which, because it's like a 60-foot radius. Gonna center it where I can get two of them, hopefully. And I'm going to negative energy flood them.
Okay. What do they have to do?
I will put it in chat. There it is. Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Constitution saving throw. Okay. 2 20. That's right. Okay, so
Sorry, I'm gonna have to be that guy. The description of the spell. You send ribbons of negative energy at one
creature.
you see
Okay,
within
so just
range.
pick one.
okay.
Yeah, just pick one.
Okay, well that one succeeded.
Okay. They still take damage. It's just
Okay.
So
No, that's a good
yeah,
Alex.
it's a good call.
Thank you.
Yeah. Half of 39.
Okay. So that's 18. Yeah. Points of necrotic damage. All right. So you hold out your hand at one of them. Let's do that. Hold out your hand at one of them, and the tendrils of black energy come streaking out towards her. Hits, and she lets out kind of a slight like grimace of pain as they rip at her, and then she thrusts her arms outwards, this shockwave of magical energy, and she says, it looks like she took a little bit of damage there, and she shakes her head. She says, "Oh, you are going to make it difficult then." And they all three hold up a hand in your direction. I'm going to need you to make, as they're all taking their turns now, I'm going to need you to make 3 wisdom saving throws.
First one is a 26.
Success.
The second one's a 10.
Okay.
And the third one is a 20.
Okay. Since one of them succeeded, that's going to be enough as you lock into place. Still conscious, but paralyzed. And as you're frozen there, the one that got you in the spell begins to approach. Says, "Just stay there for a moment." And the other two, she looks and says, "Sisters, you take care of the rest." And they both nod, and they look up around them at seemingly nothing. And each one begins to incant under their breath this, we'll do it. For the sake of this, they can do it enough, so I think at some point it's gonna... Alright, takes them a minute, but with a second attempt, you watch as out of the air around them, these small sort of fissures in this dome shape around the ship, as there's this protective barrier that existed around the ship, that suddenly cracks begin to form in it, and then the Hallow spell is dispelled. At which point, that fog begins to roll inwards. They look over towards you, smiling again, Lucius, and say, "You're coming home with us." I'm going to say, because they can do it enough times in this minute, eventually you do fall prey to the same thing. If you want to roll me a few Constitution saving throws again.
I was actually going to try something. I know it's not going to work, but I kind of want to try something.
You can certainly try.
When I handled the relic and I got that meeting with the vapor puppets of yonder,
Yesteryear.
It said that I wasn't strong enough or anything like that, right? Is there any way I can maybe contact them as a little bit of a help? I know that the king wants me for a reason. I don't know what's going to happen. Lou doesn't know what's going to happen. Can he try to do whatever he can to contact him and be like, "Hey, get us out of here and I'll do whatever you want"?
Okay. Here's what I say is going to happen in this moment. So you're frozen here, can't do anything, but you just sort of close your eyes as you feel this sort of shaking around you, this reverberation as something is now affecting the ship. This fog is beginning to roll around, and you concentrate. In your mind, you feel that presence again, and I say you see your vapor puppet, that form kind of standing in front of you. And it shakes its head. But you hear that voice says, "This is a journey you must take. There's power to be had where you're going. Make the most of it." As suddenly there's a crack and everything goes to darkness. Trying to find the music. There we go. Some time passes. You're not sure how long, but each one of you eventually begins to wake. I'd say Den and Lil probably first, in your higher constitutions. You'll stir, shake, and you pull yourselves forward and startle, and then chains. You look around, arms and legs manacled. Left, right, up. Stone walls extending in every direction. an iron door across the room. No opening. Silent. Except for the breathing sounds of your companions.
Sorry.
That's okay. All bound in the same room as you. Slowly beginning to stir.
I start calling out names. Everybody's name. Try to get them to answer, make sure they're awake.
Do we have our gear?
No.
Everyone alright?
Everyone begin. You all begin to wake up. Everything is taken from you.
Do I still have the claw?
You do not.
You had to ask.
Anything magical, taken from you.
Is my holy symbol gone?
Everything is taken from you.
Yeah, that's bad.
Everybody okay?
You said everything magical, right?
Everything. Everything.
The bracelet is gone too, right?
Yeah. No, I mean,
That's
every
what
is
it's
taken
for
from
Lynn.
Clothes and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically enough so that if this was like a video game where I'm moving, we could get past the sensors, but everything else has been taken from me.
Like in Skyrim when you get sent to prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone alright?
I think so.
Yeah.
Who did we piss off this time?
Well, I think we all know the answer to that.
I don't want this answer.
Well,
Honestly thought we were free of the damp fae.
I don't know if we will ever be free of them, but where are we?
Prison.
Somewhere we've got to get out of.
All right. Then, I know this is a dumb question, but you think you can pull your way out of these chains?
I try to pull my way out of the chains.
Okay. Make a strength check.
$26.
Damn, girl. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably enough to pull your way out
No,
of the...
that's too many.
Okay.
24. I can't do
Okay.
math. 24.
All right.
I mean, it's still a lot.
That is still a lot. Did you roll 19?
I did. I just can't do math.
No, that's fine. Oh, wait. Is that with your magical bonus for your Ion Stone?
Yes.
What is it without your Ion Stone?
Not that much. Plus, I wrote it down. Hang on.
I think it's +3.
It's +3. It's only +3.
Okay, so 22. So I'll say it's still really good. You pull and pull and pull, and you are actually able to pull one of your hands free from the wall, just with the sheer brute force. You do notice at that point, noticeably, you're not as strong as you normally are, and you feel that sort of dwindling power.
I can't burst out of a sound like this.
No. What do we do?
Can I try to sort of get my hand loose, as it were? My actual hand, not the stump. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how the chains are holding onto the stump, but
So you're trying to like finagle your way out?
yeah.
Like, okay. Sure. Make me a dexterity check.
Mm. 21.
21. All right. I'm gonna say this is what happens then. You take Or well, I'll give you the option. You're gonna be able to get your thumb out. You're gonna be able to get your hand out. You're gonna have to dislocate your thumb.
Oh, fuck. What I have planned, that's not really necessary. So, yeah, I'm going to take the dislocation.
Okay. You take 10 points of damage as you rip your hand from there, and you all hear like a popping noise as Star dislocates his own thumb to get his hand out of the manacle.
Star, come here. I can grab my hand and I'll give you some healing.
Just pass my hand over to Lil quickly.
And I give him 10 points of lay on hands.
Okay, cool. I was going to look up spell components, but lay on hands, I don't need to worry about that. So you do cast, and there's the magic does work. Your thumb pops back into place.
Oh, what an unpleasant day this is. So is the other hand still held in, like, is the stump held in by the manacles in any way? There's no hand there for it to sort of pull against.
Yeah, actually, no, it's just around your your bicep.
I have no idea if this will work, but I'm going to try. And Star is going to try and use one of the claws off his hand to pick the lock.
Interesting. Okay. You're doing a one-handed and with something is barely considered a thief tool.
Now I'm double checking if something needs spell components or not.
Okay.
Don't think it does. No, cool. I can cast Mage Hand as well to assist me.
That's what I figured. Okay, that helps with the one-handedness. You're still using a claw, which is not. It's not fine. It's not. It's going to be pretty hard. I mean, this is going to be a hefty check, but you can certainly try. So go ahead and make an attempt with these tools. I'm going to give you disadvantage on this though, because
disadvantage sleight of hand check.
Yes. Well, yeah, because it's not really your thieves tools. Actually,
I don't even have my thieves tools anymore. I never got a chance to buy more.
So what I was going to say is, this is just going to be a dexterity check.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's no proficiency would really apply to that.
That's a nat 1, so 6 in total.
Okay.
Star broke a nail.
Yeah, it sort of splinters a bit, and you just sit there and like chews on it for a bit as it's splintered, but you're not able to get out of these without your tools. Anybody else doing anything before something else happens?
I don't think there's anything I really can do, unfortunately. But
can I reach anybody from where I am? I got one. Which arm do I have free? My good arm.
I'll say you'd had your dominant arm free because that would mean your stronger arm. So is that your right arm? Assume you're right-handed.
Yes.
Okay.
I've never thought about it. Yes.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll say Lucius is the right of you.
Can I reach? I just start. I don't know what else to do. Everybody's just standing around thinking. If I can reach his chains, I'm just gonna start pulling on him, and I'm gonna just throw my whole body weight against him and try to rip him out one-handed. I don't see this working, but
make a strength check.
Oh my god, +3. What is happening to me?
You got this.
17.
Yeah, you pull on it a bit. And it can sort of doesn't really have any give to it, but maybe with some time you might be able to work it out. You can feel the iron sort of bending a bit, but it's not coming free.
As long as no one else is doing anything, I'm just wrenching it back and forth, trying to work it out of the wall.
As long as I have unsplintered claws, I'm trying to get myself free.
Yeah.
So can I just
do
something? I'm gonna Misty Step out of these chains and go and help Den pull on the wall, because Misty Step doesn't require components.
No components. Okay.
No components. It's just a verbal spell.
And with that, there's and Lil is suddenly standing in the middle of the room.
I didn't think that was gonna work. Okay.
And I
Whoa.
run over and I help. I'm gonna try and help Den. And now I need to know: does the Belt of Dwarvenkind give me? No, that doesn't give me strength. That gives me con. Okay, cool. So yeah.
Are you wearing that right now?
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. So it does but I couldn't remember whether it was going to take away
Your
from my con or my
constitution.
strength.
Yeah, your constitution is reduced by what? How much should? What's your normal constitution at?
I think
it gives you a +2 to your constitution.
Yeah, so I thought it was a 14, and
so your constitution is reduced by 10 right now.
Oh, you have less hit points.
Yeah, I do. And
you're not your constitution. Your health points, your hit points are reduced by 10 right now. So
10 right now. Okay, so it's back to 94. Okay, I'm gonna leave my max at 104 just so I don't forget.
That's fine. Yeah.
My current at 94. Okay. Anyway, so I run over to Den and try to help her pull the chains.
If she's gonna help me, I'm gonna try to wrench myself out of the wall and then start trying to get everybody else out.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys make a check with, or Lil, you can, I guess one of you can make a check with advantage. With your, then using your off arm, are you trying to get your other arm free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both at +3, right? But I think yours is still higher, right?
If it's just a strength check, then it's just +3.
Yeah, okay, well, let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because we know how bad I roll.
Oh, that's really good.
Good.
21.
All right. You pull on a bit, and I think after a moment, you're able to break the other arm free, pulling the chains. You're still manacled, so you have chains coming out of your arm. Like the manacles are still there, but you have you're free from the wall.
Yeah, those sound like weapons to me. All right.
At that point, you hear a set of keys jangling in the hallway, and you hear a click at the door.
I run over towards. Can I tell which way the door is going to swing open?
Yeah, you can tell it's gonna go in to the left.
Yeah, great. I go hide behind where the door would swing open.
Trying to think what makes more sense. No, it's gonna go out because they wouldn't want to obscure their view of the prisoners.
Well, then I go press myself up against the wall.
Okay,
and I'm holding a chain. I'm holding a chain, like ready to grab somebody.
I'm on the opposite side of the door. So like, Den and I are flanking the door.
Okay.
This is gonna go well. I can feel it.
All right. So both of you make stealth checks.
Hey, I don't have disadvantage.
I do.
Why?
Star has
the
faith,
door
guys.
opens, do I like see who it is?
As the door is beginning to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a view of it. So we'll deal with that in the
I feel like plate armor gives you disadvantage on stealth.
We don't have plate on.
We don't have.
Oh, I don't. You're right. I suck at this game.
It's awful. I got a 9.
11. No. 12.
12. Okay.
Can't even roll that low on a stealth check.
I rolled a 10. The dice.
All right. So Lil and Den are pressing themselves against the wall as the door is slowly begins to creak open, and as it opens up, you all see a hooded figure, mostly obscured, that is kind of sliding the door open, is taking a set of keys and putting them to the side, and is slowly beginning to walk in. Their face is obscured by you can't see who they are right now, but they're slowly beginning to make their way into the room, as Lil and Den.
I like hunch over, like to be like bracing myself, and then I'm trying to like mentally project, push him over me.
Okay.
I feel like I would know. I just shoulder check
Okay.
whoever it is.
Sato, I'd like you to make a perception check since you were saying you wanted to see.
Okie dokie.
This is a bad plan.
12.
Very worst.
12. Yeah, I mean, you can't see anything through the shroud of the hood right there. The two of you go, or Den, you go to shoulder check the person, so you make an athletics check.
Oh, that's the thing I'm good at. Oh no, it's less though.
Yes, it is.
Still pretty good at it. +7.
Okay.
That is a natural 20.
Well,
27. Eat it, weird robed person.
Okay. You slam into the shoulder of the person, which causes them to tumble over Lil onto the ground. As they hit the ground, they very nimbly sort of begin to pull themselves up.
Can I scramble and try and grab for the keys?
You can, however, as you are doing so, the figure says, Wait. I'm not with them. And they hold up a hand, or hold up their hands, and you see 2 white paws.
What?
They say,
Who? What?
Answers now.
one second. And sort of look around, and they go and they pull their hood down, and you see a tabaxi man with white fur, some grayish markings across the chin, across the side of their face, their chin. They've got a little bit of like a tuft of hair going down to a point. White hair, like longer white mane, or I guess hair for tabaxi, kind of combed and back down the back of their heads. The side of their heads are actually shaved, and you see tattooing across it. And says, I am here as... Let's not make so much noise. I'm here to help. Looks over towards you, Star, says, hello, son. This isn't the time for this. I'm here to help you. There's only so much I can do right now. We will talk more later. He takes the keys off his off the side and hands them over to Will, since you were going to them, and says, hold these. Do not let anyone see that you have them. Free yourselves. When you hear a commotion outside, run. To the right, down the hall. It's going to slope down. Follow that curve. When you hit the junction, make a left. Now, this is very important. It's going to take you into a large throne room, for lack of a better term. There's another door just to the left when you enter. You need to make it there. That will lead you out. Do not let her see you. I'm going to make a bit of a distraction. You're not going to understand most of this, but he takes up a scroll of paper, hands it over to you, Den. Says, this is going to lead you to where you need to go. Meet me in Bjornheim as soon as you can. Be careful. Travel quickly. Your belongings. I'm going to get them for you, or I've gathered them for you. When you make your way outside, there's going to be a boulder just at the base of the hill. I've hidden them behind there. Grab what you can as quickly as you can, and keep going. You're going to want to stay and look for your friends. We'll come back for them, but you need to get out of here as soon as possible.
What do you mean our friends?
The crew of your ship.
All of them.
Yes. You can't get to them right now. They're far away from here. Believe me, it will do no good if you go after them now.
Can I insight check
Can
him?
I also inside check him? $15.
22.
Okay. Seems to be telling the truth.
I grab Den's hand and I hold the keys.
We're gonna get Holly. She's gonna be fine. We need our shit if we're gonna do it, though. So let's go get it.
I'm looking at him. If anything happens to them, you die first.
He puts up his hand and says, fair enough. Trust me, though, there is nothing you can do for them right now. Everybody understand?
Yeah, one question. Where the hell are we?
Twilight Realms, correct?
A part of it, yes. You're in the Shadowed Desolation. You need to make your way to the Feywilds. The map will tell you where to go.
I'm running around, like, as I have Den's hand, I'm unlocking her out of the manacles, and then I go and get everybody else free.
He takes his way back kind of towards the doorway and opens up or looks out the open door a bit up and down the hallway. Says, looks up and down, doesn't see anything, and looks back in the room and says, "You're on time. As soon as you can make it there. If you can survive, perhaps you have a chance to make it back to Sartia alive."
You don't know anything about us, do you?
I know enough. All right, need to go now.
Just make it out yourself. There's a lot to talk about.
He gives a nod, and he says, "Believe me, I have much I want to talk to you about too." Looks up and down the hallway, and then quickly darts off to the left.
Let's go right.
So you unlock everyone.
And I
You're all free.
don't know where to hide the keys, but I'm gonna clench them in my butt cheeks. Little Lil is gonna clench those keys in her butt cheeks. She's keeping those keys.
Okay. Could just leave them in the cell, but all right, that's
He
fine.
said don't let him see that you have them, so that's what Lil took from that statement.
That's fine. You tuck them into your pants and hold on to them tight. You all stand up and begin to make your way to the right down the hall. Sadel, your knee doesn't hurt.
Nice.
You feel really good right now.
Nice.
So just saying, you sort of an energy to you, feel pretty good. Anyway, that's just saying right now, because you don't have your brace on. I think you probably would have been bracing for that a bit, lack of a better term. All right.
As he's unchained, he doesn't have the bracelet on. Can he still feel the power that he wields? So like the vapor puppet and everything?
Yeah, I mean, you still feel like you.
Okay.
You don't feel like you're under any sort of like anti-magic
Okay.
effects or anything like that.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with if we need to remain unseen. Star, you wanna go first?
I'll stay ahead. Just follow as best you can. I don't know what her is, but if we find it, I'm sure I have at least one trick up my sleeve.
I'm gonna stay close behind.
Okay.
Everyone else,
Then-
follow the braid, I guess.
And waiting for the commotion as our cue to get our butts out of there. As soon as that starts, we leave the cell and head to the right.
Okay. You pause for a bit, waiting, all of you sort of the tension filling, waiting for someone to come down the hallway, somebody notice that you're free. You hear like a small like popping noise, almost so far away, this like crack in the distance, and then a few others. And they kind of grow in succession, and faintly you might hear the sound of voices. Something is going on, but you're not, again, the walls are too thick and it's too far away to know what it might be. So, do you go?
That was something. Let's go.
It's more than the silence that was there before. Okay, you go rushing to the right towards the sloping kind of ramp that leads down. Following that quickly, I need everyone to make stealth checks.
Remember, no one's at disadvantage.
26.
21!
19.
14.
30.
All right.
I mean, well done, guys. You tried.
I did so
Will's
good,
is
though.
just concentrating on clenching, so she's.
Okay, so let me get through. 30. Danik got a...
I already forgot. 21.
Lil got a...
14.
Lucius.
19.
Saddle.
26.
Okay. So I did pretty well as a whole.
For the first time ever.
You all make your way down.
Proud.
You make your way down the hall, kind of swooping down towards the inner kind of junction that your father referred to. Stars, you were first. You kind of begin to go around that corner, and then you hear something. You stop for a second, motioning for everyone else to stop. And you look, and you see in this dimly lit hallway a few figures go past. One of them hunched over, kind of stringy gray hair, green skin, a long hooked nose, kind of hobbling with a cane as she goes past. Behind her, moving at a lumbering pace, kind of blocking up this hallway, is this massive ogre that is following behind her, and the two of them go rushing very quickly down the hall. Actually, they've been going right, so down the hallway to the right. As they disappear in the distance, you make your way to the end of the hall and look left and right, and it seems clear. You begin heading left, the group coming up behind you, all of you following as that junction, that hallway leads again, kind of curving to the right a bit. You pass a number of other doors as you go, but you, unless anybody wants to start looking through other rooms, then I assume you guys just keep going.
I'm sure we'll be back later.
You can hear some more commotion in the distance, and it sounds like you're actually probably getting closer to wherever the root of it might be coming from. Until finally you get to a door at the end of the hall.
I ease open the door.
Okay.
Just try to take a quick peek in the room to see if there's anyone or anything in there.
Okay. You very cautiously push open the door, trying to make as little noise and causing as little disturbance as possible. As you push open the door, you can see this room spans probably about 50 to 60 feet across, large circular space. As you peer around, you can see at the top of this room, kind of coming down to a point, almost pierced through the stone, is this large blue crystal that comes to a point about 20 feet above the floor. And it's just pulsing, like radiating with energy. Standing near that crystal, slowly sort of circumventing it, you see a woman standing there. Long green robes. She stands about 12 feet tall with kind of a mass of fiery, curly red hair that drapes down about halfway to her waist. She has sort of porcelain white skin, and as she walks around, you can see, as you get just the slightest glimpse of her face, you can see these markings across her face, these sort of blue tattoos or lines that go across her face, down her cheeks, one down her chin. She has some across her arms too, underneath this billowing robe that is stitched with a leather belt. And she is elven, as you see the pointed ears, the angular features, or at least she appears to be.
Which way is she currently facing?
She's walking around in a slow circle around this crystal.
So I'm gonna hold up my hand for everyone to wait for 30 seconds. I want to get a sense of how long each lap around the crystal takes her.
Okay. Once you walk around it, she's not moving very fast. About 45 seconds to a minute.
Okay, when I say 2 at a time, I'll go last. I'll keep an eye on her cycle. Just try to stay quiet. If anything happens, I have spells to defend myself still. You all just run.
Lilibet and Sado, you go first.
Okay. Can I like peek in the room to see if I can see the door that Star's dad had told us about to the left?
Yeah, since the door is partially open, you're looking in and you can see probably about 15 feet kind of along this curve. There's another door there.
Okay. Does it look wooden, iron, like just a wooden door?
Yeah.
Okay. I grab Sadell's hand and say, "Let's go."
Okay, wait. So ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
There we go.
I'm gonna be making another stealth check. Star is helping you, and so I'm gonna give you advantage on this one.
Okay. It's both of us, right?
Yeah, both of you.
27.
Nice.
Come on, Lil. Come on.
11.
With advantage?
Yep.
Okay. Sado, you go rushing across as fast as your legs will carry you, which is pretty fast right now. As you look back, you see Lil come with you. You make it to the door and you get to pull it open. And you see a chamber beyond and a hallway that seems to be leading down again. And as you turn back, you see Lil, who is kind of rushing up behind you, feet padding across the ground. And then you almost feel this shudder as you look over, and the woman walking around the crystal has stopped and has turned her head over her shoulder and is looking back at all of you.
I'm making this obvious. I am doing up the silent image. Like, as she turns, I'm just putting up a wall in the way.
Okay. The silent image goes up. And as it does, she sort of looks at it and then looks through it.
All of you run. Go!
She looks through it at you as you're running and she says, "That's cute."
I see what Star is doing. I'm gonna use my control air and water. I'm gonna do a real wall, and I do a wall of water in between us and her.
Okay. The water wall goes up as you're trying to rush through, and all of you are making it past. So you're all just running down the hallway.
I'm making sure I go last.
Okay.
I'm the slowest one though out of all of us, so I'm dashing as much as I can.
If I can pull Lil, I'm gonna pull her. I don't know how much it's gonna help, but
Okay. You pull it along with, or you pull Lil along with you, trying to go as fast as you can. Very quickly, as you turn your head over your shoulder, let's see. What's the level of your spell again?
who me?
Den's.
That is a. Oh, jeez.
I think it's like a 3rd level.
Wall of water. I don't know. It's a try.
Lower than 7th?
It's okay. Do you have to ask me that question?
I believe it is lower than 7.
Yes, it's a Triton thing. Yes, I found it. It's a 3rd level spell.
All right. So as you turn around, you watch as the wall of water just suddenly begins to dissolve away and disappears as she's holding out a hand and looking past it. Seems to be looking through the illusion at where you guys are going. You get the impression that she was able to see through that. Doesn't really move to stop you, though, as you're all running away. You all quickly make your way down the sloping and spiraling hallway, quickly descending deeper and deeper and deeper. Again, no windows. You have no idea where you are right now, but eventually it hits a ground floor of some sort and levels off into a few other hallways. But at the end of it, where you exit from, you see a shaft of light. You see some sort of light piercing in through the darkness.
Just going.
Okay.
I think, right, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
You all come running to the end of the hall and emerge out into a desolate landscape. You see black hills and rock formations towering up in every direction. You see just this absence of green or life all throughout you for like miles and miles around as you're sitting at the top of this raised hill here. There are ruins and broken buildings of structures that once stood all around you, and behind you as you exit and go running up, you look and you see a massive black tower topped at its peak with a blue crystal that seems to be absorbing the moonlight and the light, the ambient light around it that is piercing through the heavily obscured skies. Far, far in the distance, a few miles ahead, towards the direction that you are now heading, you see the dark and black landscape eventually gives way to clusters of dead and dying trees, which eventually gives way an endless sea of green and this dense forest beyond that stretches out to the left as far as you can see, and to the right eventually gives way to a mountain range that once again towers up far, far into the sky and far, far out into the distance, and then to your right from there, kind of more towards, I guess I'll just go with northern direction, you see an ocean that extends out, a few islands spattered throughout it, this sapphire colored sea of rippling water that extends far into the distance. And as you are all running down the hill, making your way away, you hear the sounds of commotion in the distance, and you all turn your heads to the left. You see a spark of light, and you can see this towering giant standing there with a club over its head that goes slamming down to the ground, setting up a debris and rocks scattering to either side, as you can see, probably the distraction that has allowed for your for the most part at this point, unnoticed escape. You're all quickly looking around, and you can see at the bottom of this hill, there is a large boulder sitting there just at the base of some ruins.
All but to the boulder.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As you all make it to the boulder, You can see kind of jammed up against between it and the wall, there is a sort of a tarp thrown over it, or some sort of a bundle thrown over it. And as you rip that off, you can see your belongings all just scattered throughout there.
I go grabbing for my stuff.
Hang on, it'll take me. I think the time in the book's 15 minutes for donning light armor, if I'm remembering it correctly.
For light armor, it's heavy
It
armor.
seems long, yeah.
Light
Yeah,
armor,
okay.
I think it's a minute to put on light armor. You guys are on your heavy armor. It's 10 minutes.
We don't
Can-
have time to put on plate.
No, we don't. So I'm basically just grabbing, everything I can, and getting like the under stuff that usually goes under plate.
Is the bag of holding there?
Yeah, I mean, all the belongings that were on you at the time you were captured are there.
Oh yeah. Sorry, light armor is 1 minute. I had it horribly wrong for some reason.
However,
I'm getting my belt on for sure, so I can get my hit points back.
okay, as you're all grabbing your belongings, your weapons, everything, you look up and you watch as a crow comes flapping down towards and lands on the boulder. And there's a flash of light. And sitting there on the boulder is the woman that you saw in the tower with the kind of flaming red hair and the tattooing across her face. And she gives a smile and leans forward and says, "How did you get out?"
I've had tricks up my sleeve to escape your kind since I was a child. Really thought that worked?
She looks at you and she says, "You're not one of theirs, are you?" Interesting. So what now? You've escaped.
Well, we'll probably do what we normally do, blunder around a lot, find at least somewhere we can pretend to hide for a while, then come storming in and wreck things. It's usually how things go.
Do you know anything about this place?
I'm a fast learner.
Well, perhaps you're the disruption that I was looking for. All right, then. I'll let you go. But know that I doubt you'll survive 3 days out there.
In a week, everyone else will be scared of us.
I'm sure. She. Let me check. There is a flash for a second, and she disappears from in front of you and appears right next to you. And she's looking around, and she looks at the weapons, everything you're holding. She says, "Cute. Those won't do you much good here."
I have other tricks up my sleeve, I just prefer not to show you right now. You can't expect a magician to reveal all his secrets.
All right, then. Fly away, little birds. I'll see you soon enough. And she stands there waiting to see what you do.
We should move. We have a plan. I'm just gonna gather up my things and start moving off.
Yep.
Yup.
Yep.
She makes eye contact with you, Den. And she says, "You look like you want to hit me very badly."
I always had a thing for redheads.
She sort of holds out her arms. She says, "Go ahead. See what happens."
You wish. And I walk away.
Okay. You all begin to walk down the hill as she's standing behind you, and there is another flash of light, and she takes the raven form again and begins to, or the crow form again, and kind of flutters back up towards the tower. You can still see the giants in the distance causing a bit of commotion. As you are very quickly making your way out of this place, looking down at the map you've given, I will show you the map. Now, the one you have isn't this well drawn, but... And as you quickly descend your way away from the tower, down away from the tower, towards the forests, following the directions of the map and the lines that your father has given you, hoping to find some means of escaping this place. We'll go ahead and end our session there for the night.
What the
damn it,
heck?
Sean. God damn it.
Oh, we could not!
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to mention. I almost forgot to describe this. As you are making your way down the hill, as you move your way, kind of come around a group of buildings, you see a shape sitting about 100 yards south of the tower. A large white wooden shape sitting slightly to the side, tilted upon the rocks, undamaged. But you see the relentless gale beached just south of the tower. And that's where we'll end our session.
Oh god! Why would you do that?
You said undamaged, right? Though it's
Undamaged.
Not like, okay,
It's in one piece.
You also said beached.
but it's beach though, in the middle of.
It is landlocked.
You have hurt me immeasurably.
All right. And that's where I wanted to end. Hurting people.
Great. Great session, guys.
So awesome. Welcome to the new arc.
Can we have a happy song, please? I feel like
Can we
we
please
need
have
a
a happy
happy song.
No.
Happy song.
No.
Happy song.
Happy song.
All right. Well, welcome to the new arc, guys. We will have more information on that to follow. So, everybody take a deep breath. In, out. We will pick up with that next Saturday. Until next time, we got a lot of great stuff coming up throughout the week. We have not Wild Space Monday. Wild Space was last Monday. Apocrypha this Monday. And we have I'm totally blank. Tidefall on Thursday. My mind is done right now. Until then, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, which, thanks to all of you awesome people, will now have its custom URL, and hopefully, within a reasonable amount of time, it will be youtube.com/GGameKnights.
After we make sure that that one isn't already taken.
Make sure that's already taken. Or it'll be Game Nights 1. But we will have more information on that to follow. But thank you all so much. As always, continue to enter in our giveaway if you want a chance to win Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, as well as a bunch of other real great prizes.
If we meet our Twitch follower goals.
If we meet our Twitch follower goals. So get some people out there to follow us on the Twitches. Until then, maybe we'll have some video game streaming or other stuff throughout the week, and more stuff to follow. Follow us on Twitter to get future announcements. That's all I have. I'm going to go and sign off now so they can all yell at me. And until next time, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night.
Good night, Internet!